Like that is like definition.
Test 1, 2. Okay, there it goes. Just had to reset it a little bit. Should be good. Okay, well, we're just going to pick up from where we left off yesterday. We're doing a Wednesday live stream. My favorite time of the week. Hey, what's up, Jessica? So, yeah, we're just going to start off from where we left yesterday. So, let's just do a quick little recap. Essentially, Ethan was mad at Hasan for watching a Comrade Casey video and said that Hasan was misrepresenting his position when Hasan was saying that, oh, what is Ethan Klein going to say next? Is he going to say that there was a Palestinian Supreme Court justice on the Israeli Supreme Court, and that's why, like, is he going to say that there's a Palestinian Supreme Court justice on the Israeli Supreme Court as a defense of saying Israel doesn't have an apartheid state? And Ethan's like, that's so dishonest. I can't believe that he would put those words in my mouth. And then he goes on to this, what if I said that he and he like had to censor himself, or I don't know if he censored himself or his crew did. I feel like Dan hit the button on Ethan there to censor him from saying some real fucked up stuff. But that was kind of funny. And yeah, so we realized that Ethan was defending the idea that there was no segregation yesterday. That was the context of the video. And then he's like, I'm just saying that there's the fact that there's 20% of the population is Palestinian. He's so dishonest. So let's just pick it up from where we left off.
Islamophobic. Yeah, this is straight up. 1984 was written about, and almost entirely about the USSR, and about how the communists fucking the communist way is dependent on forcing doublethink and convincing the people that reality isn't reality, and this like extraordinary brainwashing and rewriting of history. Hasan does that. It's kind of nuts.
Oh my god. Ethan is so funny. He's like, Hasan does that. That's the extent of his analysis. 1984 is a book that talks about bad things. Hasan does that. Like, okay, let's see if he'll come up with examples.
And over time, he played victim, claiming that people calling him a Zionist are...
I don't know. People say that his cough is like a tick, like it's part of his Tourette's. But yeah, I'm not really sure. It makes sense to me that can be a part of your Tourette's. I just think it's crazy that he doesn't have a cough button, especially like when he's eating and drinking and stuff. I don't know.
He played victim. Let me DM love my picture of my cock. And over time, he continued to play victim. Hey, AB, don't you hate yourself? You're a self-hating Arab, dude. What the fuck's wrong with you? Anyway, he continued to play victim.
So I don't know too much about this guy, Comrade Casey, but I was reading through some comments on his YouTube video and on my video that I did about this, and people are saying that like Comrade Casey should sue Ethan for defamation for... Apparently Ethan was joking when he said that Comrade Casey sent like a explicit picture to that producer on his show. Apparently that was a joke. Like, he didn't actually send any explicit pictures to Love. Ethan was just joking about that. But then, did he call AB a self-hating Arab, or did he Photoshop Love's face onto the body of a Hamas fighter? So I don't know, like if you have real grievances with this person and you're saying that he's an unhinged person who's been harassing you and your producers, why are you interspersing like ironic, sarcastic jokes in with the real stuff. Like when I was listening to this, I seriously thought that Comrade Casey might have sent that picture to Love, and I'm like, okay, I don't know, it's confusing, but once again, like, this is what really hurts Ethan's seriousness in my eyes, where he's incapable of making a serious point without like inserting childish humor into it. Once again, I'll go back to the example of during Halloween when his producer was talking about how he saw a guy dress up as a Nazi, and Ethan said, "Oh, that must have been Dan Clancy." It's like everything you do is tainted with an unseriousness that you bring to the show.
Can I get a fucking job, please? Can I get a job? 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 God, you're such a fucking clown, dude.
Clown Rad Casey?
Holy
It's been
shit.
suggested.
What?
Clown Rad Casey?
Clown rad? Clown rad.
Do we like that?
I do like that.
Shout out. I don't think it's that strong, to be honest.
I like the image.
Clown rad.
We could do better.
We could do better, but
Creep rad Casey.
not that I don't appreciate it.
Creep rad Casey.
He is more of a creep than a clown.
Love, I sent you a picture of my cock. Can you send one back? I'm wearing this. I'm gonna put on. I'm donning my tiara now because it's time to go to war, bitch. That's right.
People saying that 1984. People in the
Comrade
chat saying that.
Casey. Whoa, that's vulgar. It's funny though. What, Dan?
There's people in the chat saying you're wrong about 1984 being about Stalinism. He's not.
I'm actually 100% true, and I hate to tell it to you, it's about Stalinism almost entirely.
Yeah.
It's not. It's about totalitarianism. It's just a general. Just a general like control, like top-down control from the government. That's what it's about. It's not about a specific system of governance. It's not about like a specific country in a point of time. There's a reason why 1984 is still talked about today. It's still applicable today because a lot of the ideas are just about totalitarianism. So yeah, I don't know, it's kind of funny. Comrade Casey was a huge H3 fan, and he's a pretty good dude, so I found it unlikely that he would send explicit pictures or whatever. Also, no one else brought things up in Hasan's chat. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of choose to think that whatever Ethan says is not true because he's shown to be a really poor judge of like just the straight up situation.
I think people get confused because Orwell was a socialist, which he was, but he was deeply critical of the USSR. So that
being
it's
a socialist.
It's not really. I don't think that's that controversial.
Was he a socialist? No, it's known. Just look it up. It's known. It was mostly about the USSR, and it's so obvious if you've actually read the fucking book.
Yeah. Yes, he was a socialist, though. He was a pretty devoted one. He went and fought on the socialist side in the Spanish Civil War. He fought against the fascists and against the Nazis. But yeah, and a lot of tankies don't like him because of his criticism of the USSR, and I think he famously like informed on a lot of like pro USSR circles in the UK. So they like straight up see him as like a traitor for that.
People don't want to believe it. It's funny. The socialists are like, no, it's not about. Just literally look up, do like one molecule of research.
1984 is about.
Holy crap. Okay, so now once again, Ethan is attacking socialists. Ethan really has an issue with, I don't know, it's funny. It's like he has an issue with Hasan for being pro-Palestine. He has an issue with Hasan for being socialist, and he'll attack other people that are also those things. So it's just interesting. He'll attack socialism. He doesn't like the fact that Dan was a socialist. He doesn't like the fact that he's surrounded by all of these socialists. He's like, I'm a progressive, but I'm like a liberal capitalist person. And once again, it's not a criticism of socialism. It's a criticism of totalitarianism and top-down control of the government over the media and over people's lives. That's what 1984 is a criticism over. And I just think it's hilarious that Ethan is thinking that he's going to do media analysis on 1984 when he can't even understand like a single point that Hasan makes. And is able to incorporate that into his mind and then repeat it back to his audience. Yeah, Ethan has extremely poor media comprehension skills. And just responding to chat, this guy's Dan. He says he's a socialist, so he's like he's a little bit more informed than Ethan, but obviously he's not going to push back against him because Ethan is his boss, and this is probably the best job of Dan's life, like by far. One of my favorite like sound bites to come out of this whole Ethan versus Hasan situation was like a year ago in November 2023, where Ethan was talking with Hasan, and he's getting all sad and crying because Hasan's saying that from the river to the sea isn't anti-Semitic and that there should be a one-state solution rather than a two-state solution. And then Ethan says, well, I feel like I'm giving so much ground to you and I'm always conceding points. Why can't you concede any points to me? It's like, dude, you literally made a podcast with Hasan, and the premise of the podcast was you're a dumbass and Hasan is the political expert that's going to be correcting you in a funny way. You get to just be a dumbass and say funny, irreverent things, whereas Hasan kind of holds down the boat and is able to kind of correct all of the things that you do. And now you're crying that Hasan isn't making any kind of concessions towards your position, when the whole premise of the show and the episode that you were doing is that he's going to be educating you on things. It's so funny. And like, I think he's gotten it into his head at this point in time that he is an expert on these issues. In the idea that he's defending that Yoav Gallant is a moderate in the Israeli government. He's a moderating voice he was a moderating voice in Netanyahu's cabinet. And he got fired because he was that moderating voice. And he's defending his wife because she's saying he's a good guy. And instead of saying, okay, I got called out on that by Hasan, I got called out on that by my community, I'm going to apologize. No, he doubles down and he says, I'm the expert on these things. You guys don't understand. You guys are misrepresenting Yoav Gallant's position. It's like, no, dude, you're just actually stupid. And now when he's talking about 1984, it's actually an anti-socialist book. I mean, Ethan conflating socialism with the Soviet Union, right? Not understanding that it's not specifically against socialism, it's just against any kind of form of totalitarianism. Not able to understand that. And yeah, he does have like a super inflated ego. And I think it's one thing if Ethan is able to find clips on YouTubers and have this fun kind of content court drama show that he's doing, but it's a completely other thing when he's finding clips on political matters, and he finds a single article of saying that Yoav Gallant was a thorn in Netanyahu's side for trying to do Netanyahu's extremism, and then he uses that single article, that clip of information, to say that Yoav Gallant is a moderating force now. And that's just a completely different thing. You can poke fun at YouTubers' careers and other internet personalities' careers and lives with the things they've done, and you can clip jump them until the moon, but it actually takes a lot more dedication to do political analysis. And Ethan Klein has shown a real willingness to not do any kind of work that is required to do that kind of political analysis.
Capitalism.
That is laughable.
About see him as like a traitor for that.
What? Ethan's now saying it's laughable that 1984 is criticizing capitalism? It's been a while since I read 1984, but isn't there like 3 main like government corporations that everyone works at? Isn't that kind of the idea of 1984? There's like the information bureaucracy where Winston works, and then there's like, I don't know, like the meat packing plant or something like that. And the information is all lies about how much like meat packing they do or how the wars are going on. Isn't that kind of the idea of it? Like, it is kind of poking fun at this like top down almost corporate bureaucracy capitalist system, because it is like a monopolized system and everyone's lives are the worst because of it.
People don't want to believe it. It's funny. The socialists are like, no, it's not about just literally.
Bro, George Orwell was a fucking socialist. He wrote Animal Farm too. Dude, oh my god. Ethan's like, no. 1984 is supporting capitalism. It's laughable if you think it's anti-capitalism.
Look, do like one molecule of research.
1984 is about capitalism.
That is laughable.
It has things to say about capitalism, but it's not.
It is
not really that
expressly about the Soviet Union, and it's not about.
No, it's not expressly about the Soviet Union. You can apply it to the Soviet Union because the Soviet Union was a totalitarian regime, but it's not expressly about the Soviet Union. If it was expressly about the Soviet Union, why would it still be taught in schools today? It's a general takedown of totalitarianism and the systems that support totalitarianism. Oh my god.
Capitalism, it's about
Dude, Ethan has such an issue with socialism. It's so funny. He never got over that hump. And I think, I don't know, maybe that it's interesting to me because he came into this Hasan attack. He came into attacking Hasan by saying that Hasan he's too pro-Palestine, and he's being uncaring for the Jews in his support for Palestine. In his fervor to support Palestine, he is haphazardly hurting Jewish people's feelings, essentially, and especially Jewish Israelis' feelings. So he came into this saying that Hasan is too pro-Palestine and he doesn't have enough nuance in this. Okay. But then he started attacking Hasan's takes on China, Hasan's takes on Russia, and now his takes on socialism and American imperialism in general. There was that whole thing where he's saying that Hasan isn't being sufficiently pro-Democrat enough. He didn't explicitly endorse Kamala Harris, even though Hasan said, I am going to vote, I'm not going to vote third party, and I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. Hasan is pretty clearly encouraging his chat to vote for Kamala Harris, but Ethan is like, if you don't find me the soundbite, then it didn't happen, and I can blame Hasan for Kamala Harris's loss. Where it is, that's just hilarious. And now he's attacking Hasan's socialism. He's saying Hasan is 1984. 1984 is actually about Hasan, and 1984 is an anti-socialist book. Capitalism is correct. So it's like Ethan has this kind of wound, and this wound is that Hasan is fundamentally different than Ethan. Hasan has fundamentally different politics than Ethan. Ethan is a liberal at the end of the day. He's a self-proclaimed capitalist. He's a self-proclaimed apartheid enjoyer. He doesn't like the genocide. I want to be completely fair to Ethan. He does not like the genocide that Israel's doing, but he does enjoy the apartheid that Israel exists under. He has said that he wants Palestinians to be oppressed for 50 years, and then if they're perfect little oppressed victims, then maybe the Israeli Jews can give them their freedom, and there can be one person, one vote. But we can't give them one person, one vote, because if they ever outnumber the Jewish people in Israel, even by one vote, then they're going to pass legislation that's going to fuck over the Jews, because the Jews have been fucked over in all aspects of society. And so if the Palestinians get that majority, then they are going to screw over the Jewish people. So that's like a racist idea right there, and he supports apartheid. So yeah, he has these fundamental differences with Hasan. He is a capitalist, Hasan's a socialist. He is pro-apartheid, Hasan's anti-apartheid. He is a little racist to Muslims. Hasan, he's kind of culturally Muslim. And it's just gross. So it's interesting because it's like Ethan started this attack on Hasan because of Hasan's Palestinian advocacy, but it's revealed so many more differences that he's had with Hasan that he's hasn't had, let's just be honest, the balls to really speak up against Hasan with. he when he was doing the podcast with Hasan, he went over all of these differences with Hasan. He went over the differences on Tibet. He went over the differences on Crimea. He went over the differences in socialism versus capitalism. He even went over the differences of apartheid with Israel. And Hasan was able to explain his position and correct Ethan's misconceptions every single time. And Ethan would always say, okay, you did a good job of explaining it. I get it now. And then he would kind of retreat back to his little shell. Or if he wasn't willing to do that, he would say, all right, this is just boring to the audience. Let's move on. And Hasan's like, well, I just want to make sure that like you get it, right? And Ethan would be like, whatever, who gives a fuck? And he'd kind of shut down. And so this attacking of Hasan over his like being too pro-Palestine advocacy position has really allowed Ethan to air out all of these grievances that he has been hiding since the days of Leftovers. So, oh yeah, I think Ethan, I don't know if you're talking about Hasan. I think that Ethan has been more anti-Semitic than Hasan, honestly. Ethan has insisted that being pro-Israel, pro-apartheid is the Jewish position. That is extremely anti-Semitic because you are basically saying that Jews are a monolithic group and you are ascribing this genocidal position that Ethan holds to all Jewish people. And you're almost using Jewish people as a shield for your own positions. And then he also will ascribe Jewishness to people when it suits his purposes, and he'll strip away Jewishness to people when it doesn't suit his purposes. So, for example, that whole Arab tier list with Frogan, he'll say that it was all anti-Semitic, and he'll ignore the fact that there was a Jewish person there, and there were Jewish people that weren't in the bottom tier. And there were also people in the bottom tier that weren't Jewish. But for his purposes, everyone that was in the bottom tier was Jewish, and everyone in the top tier was Arab. That is anti-Semitic. That is flattening the differences that Jewish people actually exhibit. When he says that, like, people that are pro-Palestine, that are Jewish people, are just tokens. And if you want me to talk to a pro-Palestinian Jewish person, you're being anti-Semitic because you have this pre-approved list of Jewish people. You have your token Jew to try to say that you're not anti-Semitic, not really understanding or recognizing the idea that you can be Jewish and against apartheid. And it actually is a part of, like, it is honoring your Jewish traditions and ancestry by being against apartheid and by being against genocide, because the Jewish people have been persecuted for their entire existence, and they've been, like, historically, famously gone through a genocide. And so what better way to honor your Jewish ancestry by being against the genocide? So ignoring the fact that, like, being Jewish means you should be against genocide. And then also just, like, it's so funny to me too, where he will strip away Jewishness from people when it doesn't suit his needs. And there's that clip of him that I'll keep coming back to where he said Karl Marx wasn't a Jew, he was a communist. And it's so funny. It's like, yeah, Karl Marx wasn't a Jew, he's a communist. You can't be a Jewish person and a communist at the same time.
This, like, social structure, the brainwashing, the fucking, like, the power, the control over the people. It's about autocracy. It's about, like,
that's the thing. I think it's about capitalism insofar as threads of authoritarianism can run through a socialist or capitalist society. So yeah, it is. It's not that controversial to say that. I'm surprised to have seen people saying that that's not true.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what is his chat saying? Is his chat actually talking about 1984?
Yeah, can run through a socialist or capitalist society. So yeah, it is.
Bruh, you didn't understand the book. 1984 is indeed about the USSR. What? He feared capitalism. Capitalism being bad doesn't make communism good. Have some effing nuance. That's true, he was a socialist, but criticized communism. Of course it's about Stalin, LOL, it's so obvious. Yeah, I mean, Yes, it's 100% a criticism of Stalinism and totalitarianism, not communism. Yeah, like, it's a criticism of the structures of totalitarian power. It's not expressly about any one specific governance. And that's why he wrote like a fantasy book that can be applied to any kind of situation, rather than just writing about a guy who's living in the USSR.
It's not that controversial to say that. I'm surprised to have seen people saying that that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty true. It's pretty true.
I don't think Ethan would have Anna Kasparian on the show because she is probably anti-Israel. I'm not 100% sure on that, but Ethan's main criticisms are against people that are pro-Palestine right now. That's what his campaign is. Because in Ethan's mind, if you're pro-Palestine to the point that you're anti-Israel, then you are being anti-Semitic. And yeah, like telling Israel to stop oppressing people is anti-Israel in Ethan's mind.
I love that book. In middle school, high school is when we had to read it.
I read it somewhat recently. It's definitely one of the best books ever written, and one of the most disturbing books ever written, especially as you get older and you really understand like how something like that could happen. But yeah, George Orwell was a real one. And even as a socialist, he looked at Stalinism, which people today still fucking think is based, probably including Hasan, who wouldn't go as far as to be like, yeah, I'm pro-Stalin. But like, let's be real. He loves Russia, and he loves China, and he loves all these tanky scumbags whose show he appears on, like Second Thought, First Thought, whatever the fucking first brain. God, that guy First Thought is such a...
Bro, you literally had Lonerbox on your show who defends genocide. Who says that Israel is not committing a genocide, and he defends Israel snipers for shooting like little babies in the head. So I wouldn't criticize Hasan based off of the shows that he goes on or the people he appears on or the people he appears with, because you brought on a genocide defender onto your show and said that he's the better alternative to Hasan. So, Ethan, don't criticize Hasan for going on to Second Thought when you fucking brought Lonerbox on. I mean, dude, Ethan didn't just appear on Lonerbox's stream. Or just had Lonerbox show up and talk about stuff for a while and then kick him off. He specifically brought Lonerbox on to say he's a better alternative to Hasan, so you should watch Lonerbox. It's mind-boggling, man. So yeah, is Hasan pro-Russia? Is he pro-China? No, I there's like no evidence of that. Did he say that Russia annexing Crimea isn't colonization? Yeah, he said that, but he has backtracked on that at this point in time and said that it was colonization, and that it was made easier due to the steps that Russia took by like ethnically displacing the people of Crimea and sending in Russians, and then kind of like having a tighter hold on it economically and making them do a referendum. All of that stuff made it easier for Russia to annex Crimea. So yeah, Hasan has recognized that Russia like used colonial tactics to annex the section of Crimea. So yeah, I think he's like kind of vindicted or like defended himself on that point and moved past it. Has he said that like China's... I don't know. I think Hasan could criticize China for more, but what fucking criticisms has Ethan done? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you can be critical of China for, and Hasan really is not pro-China. The only thing that he said is that China took over Tibet and stopped their like slavery system, which to be honest, I need to do more research into that. But on its face, isn't that bad, and I can see there being a reason to criticize him for that, because I think that their subsequent treatment of the people of Tibet has been very poor, and you can argue that they should not be actually like annexing Tibet. There's a difference between freeing the people there and annexing it and then like subjugating them and oppressing them. I think there's a difference there, and I think that you can open up China for criticism there, and I think you can criticize Hasan for being kind of uncritical of China in that situation. Like, it's kind of the same thing that Ethan did, where Ethan said, all I'm saying is that 20% of the population of Israel is Palestinian. That's just a fact. Why are people getting mad at me about that? Well, he failed to mention that the reason he was saying that was to try to show that there is no segregation in Israel, which is insane to do. And then it's the same thing with Hasan. If Hasan's saying, well, all I'm saying is that there was a slavery system in Tibet before China came and took it over. Well, the wider context is that China came and oppressed the people, and these people still are getting oppressed and tortured. Like, you can probably say that, and if you're going to say that, you should also say that what China's doing now is not good either. Like, you're making it seem, if you're only showing a one half of the situation, you're making it seem like it was a good thing that China came and took it over, but you're not showing like the before and after. So yeah, I think there's valid criticisms of Hasan for some of the things he said about China, but Ethan's not going to make these criticisms. Ethan doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's saying that Hasan is pro-China and pro-Russia, and Hasan is a tanky? Okay, so a tanky, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that a tanky is, their whole politics is America bad, and they want to build up kind of a counterbalance to America in China and in Russia. They see China and Russia as kind of like the opposite side of global power, and everything that China and Russia has that is a win over America is a good thing, because America is the source of all evil. And I think that's like a really stupid way of looking at it. Like, America has a lot of power, true. Just because America has a lot of power doesn't inherently make everything America does bad. I think you should take the actions that America does as they come and say, is this action that America did good or bad? Is this action that America did good or bad? And obviously, the fact that America has more power, it makes the things that they do that's bad that much worse, because it's harder to stop them. So there is kind of an issue there, that it's not really a democracy. It's kind of like, this world is kind of a dictatorship right now. But it just means that, like, people like me who are Americans, who are living in the imperial core, need to do that much more work to try to affect change, to kind of reduce the bad things America does as much as possible, and increase the good that America does as much as possible. Yeah, well, effectively tankies are fascist because they support fascist countries like Russia and like China, which I think it's fair to call Russia and China fascist. But, I mean, then again, America's kind of a fascist country at this point, so basically, if you support any government uncritically at this point, you are kind of a fascist. You're at least a liberal. But yeah, that's kind of just the category that you will inherently fall into if you support America uncritically, China uncritically, or Russia uncritically. You're kind of gonna end up being a fascist.
Dumbass. Anyway, I'll get to that too.
Is he first or second, or are those
He
two
has
different
two channels.
people? So what?
He made a video.
Second thought is like a second channel.
God, that guy First Thought is such a dumbass. Anyway, I'll get to that too.
Is he first or second, or are those
He
two
has
different
two channels.
people? So what?
He made a video.
Second Thought is like a second channel, because we've always called him Second Thought, but maybe that's not really.
So
does he go by First Thought?
So he has two channels. I guess the ones where he posts his essays is First Thought, and I think his podcast is on Second Thought. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Vladimir Putin.
That's right. That's my guy. Yeah. Anyway, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, he's basically doing Stalinist fucking brainwashing tactics here. And also the big part of it was,
I got a message from Norsar. Is he in the chat? All right. I just really quickly, I just gotta check this out. We go to his community. Does he have other channels? Second Thought. Okay, so what's his First Thought channel? Is this just like his live streaming thing? So Second Thought is his video essays, and this is just like his, I don't know, whatever. This has way less subscribers though. 124K compared to like 1.8 million.
Was a big part of the story is about snitching on anybody who's close to you who's not falling in perfectly in line. Telling on your parents, telling on your neighbors, telling on your friends, telling on your grandparents. That's what happened in the USSR because everybody was being fucking disappeared. Like 100 million people were.
Oh, okay. Norsar Radio in chat. We got a celebrity in here. I've never sent any crew members explicit photos. I've never called AB a self-hating Arab. In fact, I've told r/H3 Snark to leave AB alone several times, and I've also never asked for a job at H3. So yeah, Norsar, like, that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you, because Ethan's saying all of these things, and I was scrolling through his Reddit, and his Reddit is like, I can't believe people are taking this seriously. Ethan was obviously being sarcastic in this situation, saying that you sent, like, they were saying Ethan was being sarcastic when he said you sent love explicit pictures. And I'm like, it didn't seem sarcastic to me. But like, he said these other things multiple times, like you did do these unhinged things. And people are like, even in your comment section, I left you a comment on your video that you made, and people are like, I've seen your DMs. I'm not surprised that you're saying you're lonely, like sarcastically. Like, what is going on? So, yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you, because he was saying all of these things seemingly like truthfully and honestly, and it did not seem sarcastic to me at all. And he's trying to paint you like this unhinged stalker that's like in love with all of his producers and stuff, and in love with him and obsessed with him. And it's like, you've made 2 videos on the subject so far and watched his show, and he's mad that you're a fan of his podcast that has like 2.5 million subscribers. So I was just confused. Like, your videos seem very kind of like measured and well thought out. It doesn't seem like unhinged. Like, I've seen people schizo posting on people that they are stalkers of, and that's not the vibe that I got from your videos at all. By the way, I am in Minnesota, so maybe we could hang out in person sometime. All right, let's just continue this though.
Just being fucking killed because they were suspected of wrong think. And that's where communism heads. It has to be autocratic. That's where it always heads. It's just like, doesn't work without a fucking autocrat. And a lot of them say that too. They're just open about it. Like, yeah, we need we like authoritarian government of the people. It's like, right, like Stalin. Got it.
Well, those people feel that way. I don't really think that way.
But I don't think you're actually a communist, Dan.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus Christ, dude. I'm so fucking sick of Ethan. This is what religious people do too. They have this religious thinking. They have this like religious mentality in their head where the things they say is all non-falsifiable. So Ethan will say that all communist people, all socialist people always will tend to authoritarianism, and they'll always say that we need to have this authoritarian leader, like this strongman leader leading our country to success. And then Dan will say, well, I don't think that way. And he's like, well, you're not a real socialist then. It's the exact same thing that religious people do with atheists. They're going to be like, well, a real atheist hates God, and he doesn't want God to exist. He wants God to be dead, and he rejects God. Like, I had these religious fundamentalist friends growing up, and they would always say like, oh yeah, I don't believe in evolution because Darwin, he just hated God because God killed his child. Like, God took his young son from him. And it's like, what? People actually think that? People actually think that Darwin made evolution to spite God? Like, he came up with the story of evolution to spite God? And it's like, okay, well, I mean, Matt Dillahunty, who is like probably the best atheist mind out there right now that's on the internet. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Choki. Matt Dillahunty, who is the most popular atheist mind on the internet right now in terms of like politics, I think he's the best, has said like, okay, well, I earnestly want to believe in God, and if God wanted me to believe in him, he would reveal himself to me. And the Christians that he, wow, thank you for that donation. Appreciate you breaking down Ethan's content. Must take a toll watching it. Yeah, I've taken a break. I've taken a break from covering Ethan, so it's been a fun break. But honestly, covering Ethan is preferable to covering Ben Shapiro, because Ben Shapiro just does not care about anything he says, and I think Ethan genuinely cares about what he is talking about. Anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is that Ethan employs religious thinking, and we'll talk about non-falsifiable claims, when he says that all communists want an authoritarian leader, and then his producer will say, well, I'm like a socialist and I don't want that. Then Ethan will say, you're not a real socialist. And it's the exact same thing with religious people. When they say that all gay people want to have sex with children or something, and a person will raise their hand and be like, well, I'm gay and I don't want to have sex with children, they'd say, well, you're not a real gay person then. So yeah, it's just a way that you can have these broad blanket statements without really doing that much work and kind of your analysis. Once again, just an example of him not doing good analysis. And then he'll just say this, and if you try to push back against it, he'll be like, well, it doesn't matter what you say because this applies to like a broad general group of people.
I think like
all these labels are fucking dumb anyways.
Like,
I mean, I think that is I don't think any of these people are like, what does that mean to be a communist in a society where we do not have communism? I mean, do I think that is like a sort of long-term goal or sort of model of society that seems, you know, desirable in the abstract? Yeah, but like obviously we're very far away from that. And yeah, I mean, like the people that advocate for, you know, vanguardism and violent authoritarianism to enforce that vision, that's not, that's
there's
not really,
a lot of them.
that ain't my vibe.
I know it's not, and that's what I'm saying. You're not like them.
Yeah.
You really aren't.
You're one of the good ones, Dan. You're one of the good socialists. Holy crap. Also, it's kind of dumb to say that if you advocate for violent totalitarianism to enforce that vision, when you're saying that there is no system of communism at all. Like, what group of communists are there right now who actually have violent authoritarianism to enforce their communism? Like, there is no communism at all, but whatever.
And that's why I'm trying to say, like, my problem isn't necessarily with socialism. I mean, I myself am a social democrat for sure. My problem is with these fucking authoritarians that want to control you, that are illiberal, that are against personal freedoms in the service of supposed equality.
Okay, so I think this is hilarious. So Ethan Klein is doing the kind of economic version of what he's been doing with Palestine this entire time, where he will criticize the his perceived end result of the goals that people are pushing for. So in terms of Israel and Palestine, people are pushing for an immediate end to the genocide and then an eventual end to apartheid and unequal rights for Palestinian and Jews in Israel and Palestine. Ethan will say, well, we can't even talk about ending the genocide right now because your eventual goal is untenable. Right now, there's a genocide going on and people hate each other. So how can we ever have a one-state solution where people are living peacefully side by side? Don't talk about ending the genocide. I want to talk about how wrong you are in the idea that people can live side by side with each other. So that's what Ethan is doing. That's the strategy that he uses to discredit pro-Palestinian voices. They'll say, don't talk about ending the genocide. What you're advocating for down the line is so unhinged because people hate each other right now. So why are we even talking about that? So that's what he does on Israel-Palestine. It's the same thing that he's doing now when it comes to economy. When Ethan says, I don't support communists because I'm a social democrat, but what they're advocating for down the line is so unhinged. They want Stalin to resurrect from the grave and control everyone in the name of equality. We're going to have this top-down authoritarianism in the name of equality. Meanwhile, what are communists advocating for right now? At least the ones that aren't fascist tankies. They're advocating for just like a little bit more wealth equality, which is what in theory Ethan advocates for as well. I mean, in theory, I don't actually know if that's true or not. I mean, he says that he's a social democrat and he says he supports Bernie Sanders. So let's hope that's true. But like, instead of having common cause with these people and worrying about kind of their authoritarian tendencies when we actually have a little bit more equality and a little bit more sovereignty, he says that no, what you're advocating for down the line is so dangerous and beyond the pale that we can't even, like, I'm going to specifically attack you now because hypothetically, in like 15 years, you're going to take away my rights. So I'm going to spend my time attacking communists now. But he's ignoring the fact that the right-wing conservatives are taking away people's rights as we speak. They're making it more difficult for people to vote. They're making healthcare worse. They're making like women's bodily autonomy worse. They're trying to get children to go back to the mines. Like every single aspect of life that people are enjoying is getting taken away by these conservatives that have power now. And Ethan ignores all of that and says it's the communists that are trying to take away people's rights. Because if they ever achieve their dream of communism, they're going to have this authoritarian, totalitarian, 1984 style government that's going to make everyone equal by taking away their rights. So it's a really interesting like mental rut that he's found himself in, where he has this seemingly close proximity to people, where once again in the Israel and Palestine stuff he'll say that yeah, I'm against genocide and they're against genocide, and then in the economy stuff he'll be like, I'm for healthcare for all and I'm for like a minimum wage. But instead of working with the people that he's in agreement on for these very like basic quick fixes that are super necessary, like ending the genocide and increasing minimum wage, he'll attack these people and ignore the real issue, where again in Israel-Palestine the real issue is Israel's genocide, and he's not criticizing that. What he's criticizing is the people that are against that genocide, and he's not criticizing the conservatives and the capitalists in the economy issue. He's criticizing the communists, because eventually if they ever get communism, they're going to have a totalitarian regime. So he's just, I mean, it's very difficult to take him unserious, or it's very difficult for me to take him seriously when he doesn't actually advocate for issues. And at the end of the day, what is his effective rhetoric? Well, his effective rhetoric is, he says that he's for change, but the only criticism that he has is reserved for people that are pushing for that change. And he's saying, well, I'm for the change that they're pushing for, but the end result of what they're doing is going to be bad. So I'm actually against them. And it's the same with communists as it is with pro-Palestinian voices. And so he is just a mouthpiece for the status quo. He's a mouthpiece for the status quo in terms of the economy, and he's a mouthpiece for the status quo in terms of Israel. He loves the apartheid of Israel, and he loves this liberal capitalism that we have in America. And once again, his effective rhetoric is attacking the people that have been the biggest advocates for change. And so it's just it's really gross coming out of this guy's mouth. Yeah, exactly. He's a status quo liberal.
At the hands of a fucking dictator who decides who's good, who goes to jail, who's bad, who gets fed, who doesn't.
anti-Semitic. Ironically, an anti-Semitic statement in and of itself.
This motherfucker is this white bread bitch-made fucking loser is telling us.
White bread. Okay. So just one thing about this, like, if you're going to react to Comrade Casey's video, react to the video. You're just pausing it after literally 2 seconds of audio and insulting the guy. Like, just let it play. Or if you're just reacting to Hasan clips and you don't know the bigger context, look up the video yourself. Why don't you react to the video yourself if you're this worked up about it? I mean, this is a perfect comparison to what he's criticized Hasan of doing. He says Hasan isn't reacting to my content. Well, you've done like literally probably like 24 hours of content on Hasan at this point. And Hasan's obviously not going to react to all of that. And Hasan actually did do a video responding to it. It's like an hour and a half long. Ethan has ignored that. But that's fair. Like, Hasan's he can be a little bit yappy sometimes. He's a live streamer. It's an hour and a half of content. React to this Norsar radio video. It's like, what, 30 minutes? It's 25 minutes? React to that video. Why aren't you reacting to that? If you, I don't know. I guess Ethan's not really concerned about good faith criticism coming back his way. He said at one point that he said at the very first episode, feel free to disagree with me. And then ever since then, he's been like, if you disagree with me, you're getting banned.
A Jewish man, what's anti-Semitic? Like, imagine the balls. Like, imagine telling any other minority group who's like, yeah, this feels racist to me, and this is why I find it offensive. Like, actually, no, bitch, you're wrong, and also, you're the one that's racist. It's like, you fucking bitch coward.
Dude, Felix Bitterman was on Hasan's podcast, and you called him anti-Semitic, so, like, he's Jewish. And you're saying, like, I'm so offended that you called me, a Jewish man, anti-Semitic. Dude, the idea of Zionism is inherently anti-Semitic. You're spreading anti-Semitism when you say that Jews are better than other people and they're different from other people. That is an anti-Jewish thing to say. That's an anti-Jewish idea. If you're saying Jewish people are so different from every other people, and it's actually the Jewish people's fault that they've been holocausted and they've been persecuted in every country they've been to. It's their fault, so like it's something wrong with the Jews. So we need to get all of the Jews together into Israel, because the only safe way for a Jew to live is surrounded by other Jews using military to kill everyone around them. We just need to have like a 5-mile perimeter of just glassed sand. So... oh, did I miss a Norsar radio comment? I'm so bad with the chat. He's literally watched 30 seconds combined of my 2 videos and talked about me for over an hour total. Dude, yeah. What, like, if he wants Hasan to go over your, like, or his own meandering clips that he's collected from, like, Destiny's communities and just hodgepodge together over, like, 20 hours of stream. If he wants Hasan to do that, why can't he react to like a 25-minute long video that's concise and edited of just like a compilation of sketchy clips that he's done? Like, yeah, man. And the fact, I just have to go back to it, but the fact that he's like, what? I was just saying 20% of Israeli, 20% of the Israeli population is Palestinian. Why is that bad? I'm just stating a fact. When the context of it was that he was saying that to defend the idea that there's no segregation in Israel, that's so dishonest. So yeah, Ethan, like, I think it's just clear, like, Ethan is not an honest actor at this point. I just wish that his cast would kind of call him out on it a little bit more.
And the fact that Hasan is even watching this on his stream and show like he is anti-Semitic. This is fucking Jew hatred.
He does use the Supreme Justice talking point.
And over time, he played victim, claiming that people calling him a Zionist are being anti-Semitic. Ironically, an anti-Semitic statement in and of itself. But I'll get to that.
That's true. Oh my god, he did a good video on this. By the way, guys, how's the volume? I've been trying to mess around with the volume. Is it fine? Is the video audio too low? But just let me know as we're going through this. But yeah, like, I mean, there's that whole bill that was working its way through the Senate, where they say, if you criticize Israel, that's anti-Semitic. Which is just like, again, it's an anti-Semitic thing to say, because if you're saying that a criticism of a country is an indictment on all people of an ethnic group that like make up the majority of that country, then you're basically saying like all people of that ethnic group are a monolith and they are kind of all responsible for that country. So interesting how Ethan, hypocrite, works for him. You didn't watch my vid, won't watch others. You don't respond to my points, called out for the same. Is it dissonance or some type of intentional? I think it is dissonance, and it's just like a willful ignorance. Like Ethan is willfully being ignorant on this subject because it works for his points. And like he's able to call out other people for it, but he's just like completely self-unaware. And I think like maybe deep, like this is going to be a little bit of armchair psychology, but I think a little bit deep down, he does know that he's being uncharitable to people that are criticizing him. And that's why he's not really talking to anyone that is going to be critical to him. Because I think he realizes that none of his arguments are going to hold up to any form of scrutiny. And he's like really quick to shut down any kind of dissonance with like AB talking about Hasan. And even when he was talking with Hasan, whenever Hasan like had a point that he didn't like, he just kind of shut down and he would rage quit. He'd leave the stream, or he'd say, this is boring, let's just move on. So he's just the type of guy who has a feeling and will look for any other kind of evidence to support that feeling and support the conclusion that that feeling leaves. And it is just it's kind of an embarrassing thing for a grown man to do that. Like that's something that you would expect a 4-year-old child to learn to not do in preschool. Like the second time they shut down because their favorite toy or the book they wanted to read was being read by someone else, and then they start pissing and shitting themselves and crying on the floor, they get embarrassed by everyone. But Ethan has kind of developed this hug box around him, and the people that are critical of him for doing these very childish things, he's excised from his life. He's excised everyone from the comments and from his Reddit that has been critical to him. All of his hosts know to not be too critical to him because he does have this very childish, very emotional ego. And there's no one really left to call him out on this bullshit. Like Hasan was kind of the last person that was like, okay, well, I think you're wrong on this. And that got shut down pretty quickly. So yeah. And then we can see how he reacts to good faith criticism. I mean, I think this Comrade Casey video, this Northstar Radio video, has been very good faith criticism. It's just been like compiling clips, and to be honest, I haven't seen the entire thing, but I have like seen some of your analysis on it, and that was great. And Ethan just ignores it completely and says, "Oh, well, I guess I said it in a dumb voice. Is that the point of it?"
That's my problem, is that people they're watching with the expectation, they're looking for any...
I think his past open criticism of Israel and advocacy for Palestinians carries so much weight until October 7. Yeah, it carried a lot of weight for me too.
Yeah, until I realized that like a huge portion of you guys were okay with fucking Israeli civilians dying and like disintegrating.
Bro, you're literally... Oh my God. Okay, this is so funny. Ethan literally says that the people living in the West Bank settlements are valid military targets. Is that not an endorsement of killing Israeli citizens in an effort to try to like in an effort to achieve your political goals? Like that is quite literally advocacy for terrorism. Ethan said that the settlers in the West Bank are valid military targets. So you are okay with Israeli citizens dying. Dude, holy fuck. Like, Ethan has lost his mind. Guys, this is what Zionism's gonna do to your brain. When you try to defend apartheid, it twists your brain into all kinds of different knots. And you just end up with like a noodle brain dripping out of your ears. And you're like, oh, well, you're for Israeli citizens dying. I'm only for Israeli citizens dying. You're a fucking moron, dude. Holy shit. All right, let's continue this.
The borders of Israel. Like, yes.
Okay. So Ethan's for Israeli citizens dying as long as the borders of Israel remain strong. I paused it too quickly, guys. I'm wrong. Ethan's for Israeli citizens dying as long as Israel gets to maintain its apartheid. So, once again, apartheid is basically a system of violence, and it ensures that violence is going to continue because you are violently oppressing a group of people. So when you are violently oppressing a group of people, then violence exists on the oppressor side, and it will inevitably rise up to resist the oppressor side. So yes, apartheid causes violence, but Ethan is against violence. He's just pro-apartheid because he thinks apartheid will bring about less violence than ending the apartheid. Because once again, why would stopping the oppression of the Palestinian people cause more violence to happen? Well, it's because Palestinians just have this inherent distrust and hatred of Jewish people. I mean, we don't have to look any further from Rudy Giuliani saying, they're trying 2-year-olds to kill Americans and Jews. And then Gila's like, I mean, he's got a point, all right? He's got a point. Like, we don't need to look any further from that. Ethan thinks that he has a point, and he might say it's not their race, it's not their genetics that makes them genetically predisposed to hate Jewish people. It's their culture. They have a culture of hating Jewish people. They have a culture of like being Islamic, and we all know that Muslims are the natural enemy of the Jew. It's just their culture, and I mean, culture is basically just like a dog whistle for race. When conservatives say it's black people's cultures that they have worse outcomes, and it's their cultures that the only achievement they can have in life is athletics. It's just their culture. That's just a euphemism for race, right? And we all know that it's not their culture, it's the material conditions that they're in, and like culture adapts to that. So yes, it's material conditions, but it's putting all of the agency on the person. Well, the reason that they're not achieving more is because of their culture. Palestine receives the most aid in the world. Why don't they have 5-star hotels and like massive skyscrapers by now? Instead, they dig tunnels. It's because of their culture. They have an inferior culture. It's not that Israel controls every aspect of their lives and bombs them every 10 years. It's not that. It's not that Israel will keep destabilizing their government by supporting this extremist group in Hamas. It's not that. It's that Palestinians are just inferior. It goes back to the Ben Shapiro tweet. Israel likes building things. Palestinians like, what did he say? Blowing stuff up and living in sewage. That is kind of the exact same thing that Ethan's talking about right now. And it's just gross. Like, it's just racism. There's no other way to explain it. If you think that ending apartheid will cause Jewish people to die, you are just being racist against the non-Jewish people living in Israel. I mean, why? Okay. I mean, there's just a good example in America. As I said before, white people have killed more Jews than any other race. And I'm not saying that races are real, okay? Right? I'm not going to say that race is a real biological thing. But in terms of like Ethan's mindset, Arabs versus white people have killed more Jewish people than any other like skin color. Why is Ethan okay with Jews living as a minority in US, but not okay with Jews living as a minority in Israel? Once again, let's look at the anti-Semitism that the United States exhibited. Well, they didn't really take Jewish Israelis into America, or they didn't take Jewish people from Germany, like Jewish Holocaust victims and refugees, into America. They didn't want them. The UK didn't want Jewish people in America. They sent Jewish people to Israel because they didn't want them. The United States didn't really care that Israel was doing an ethnic cleansing. In fact, there's a lot of anti-Semitism in the United States, and there was a Nazi party in the United States, like famously that Madison Square Garden Nazi rally where they dressed up as Nazis, and Henry Ford was he was a medal-winning Nazi for his Nazism in America. So yes, America is very anti-Semitic, and Europe is extremely anti-Semitic. I mean, Europe has had a history of doing pogroms on Jewish people, and there's a history of the Holocaust in Europe. So why is Ethan okay with Jews living as minorities in Europe, the UK, and the United States who have all done pogroms on Jewish people, or at the very least, like, discriminated against Jewish people? Why is he okay with Jewish people living as minorities in those areas, but he's not okay with Jewish people living as a potential minority in Israel? Well, it's because he's racist against Palestinians. That's why. He's saying that if Jewish people are ever a minority in Palestine, then the Palestinians are going to, like, fuck over the Jewish people. The non-Jews are going to fuck over the Jews. And I guess the evidence he would use for this is the wars that have happened in Israel. But once again, there's way more evidence of discrimination against Jewish people from white people, and white people have killed way more people. They've killed way more Jews than Arabs have. And like, so if you're going to go based off of history, then you should also not want white people to have a majority over Jewish people in these areas. So yeah, it's just racism. It really just is that. All right.
With that, I didn't fucking realize that was you and, like, basically your entire community. So yeah, we have a big fucking problem there, buddy.
Of Israel and advocacy for Palestinians
played victim, claiming that people calling him a Zionist are being anti-Semitic. Ironically, an anti-Semitic statement in and of itself, but I'll get to that in a bit.
That's my problem, is that people they're watching with the expectation, they're looking for any...
I think his past open criticism of Israel and advocacy for Palestinians carries so much weight until October 7. Yeah, it carried a lot of weight for me too.
Yeah, until I realized that like a huge portion of you guys were okay with fucking Israeli civilians dying and like disintegrating the borders of Israel. Like, yes, I have a problem with that. I didn't fucking realize that was you and, like, basically your entire community. So yeah, we have a big fucking problem there, buddy.
Okay, just once again, Hasan has never said it's okay to kill Israeli civilians. He never said October 7th was a good thing. The only person that's fine with Israeli civilians dying is Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein has said in his rush to defend a two-state solution, he said that keep Israel's borders the exact same way, but, you know, I think it's fine if we kill the settlers that are in the West Bank. I think it's fine if they're valid military targets and Hamas and Islamic resistance groups want to kill them. That's fine, because Israel should pull them out anyway. Israel should stop defending them. Israel should say, yeah, you guys gotta go. And if they don't go, then they're valid military targets. So in Ethan's mind, those civilians are okay to kill. Hasan has never said that Israeli civilians are okay to kill. Hasan has advocated against that. Hasan has even advocated against doing any kind of action on the settlers, either killing them through violent means or forcibly relocating them into Israel proper, because that is inherently going to involve violence too. Anytime you are relocating a group of people, that is inevitably going to involve violence to get that relocation done. So just once again, the only person who's advocating for violence against Israeli civilians has been Ethan Klein. And he's done that because he wants apartheid to exist. And once again, apartheid is a violent system. And so when you defend apartheid, you are going to be an advocate for violence. So yeah, when he's attributing Hasan as like being pro the killing of Israeli civilians, that is extremely gross, because he just has not done that at all. Oh my god. That's why... Okay, should I take a screenshot and then like make this into a thumbnail? Or is that kind of ableist against his Tourette's? Why did you guys post that smiley face? God damn it, guys. God damn it, chat. Why are you making me laugh at this man?
Don't double down. You didn't do research about your co-host.
Yeah.
Take the L and move on. Token Yemeni.
Yeah. Now his audience is getting mad at him like, bro, this is your fault. You didn't do enough research on Ethan, which funnily is what people are telling me. However, I actually concede that point that they're right. I had no idea that Hasan was like this radical. I thought he has a really good job of presenting himself as like a social democrat. Like, this is who I am, and I'm just like a normal guy like you, and I bought that without looking too far into it. But I absolutely made a mistake of making that show with him. That was 100% my bad. Let's see how he takes the criticism.
Yeah, my bad, dude.
So just once again, like a few weeks ago, Ethan has been saying that Hasan is his good friend, and how can Hasan criticize me, his good friend? And now he's like, I should have never done a show with this guy. This guy's a monster. I mean, bro, he literally, like, you confronted him on all of these issues, and then he explained them to you, and you're like, okay, I can see what you're talking about. So what the fuck are you talking about now? Like, you can go back and watch those leftover episodes. You confronted him on Israel-Palestine. You confronted him on Crimea. You confronted him on Taiwan and China. But now, and you confronted him on socialism too. But now you're like, oh yeah, all of this shit was beyond the pale. That was too far for me. Dude, you're fucking like bleeding heart lib. Get over yourself. Go back to making fun of child rapists or whatever you do on your show.
The slaughtered children that Israel was killing at the time.
I don't have time. The children are dying in Gaza. Anyway, what does Comrade Casey have to say about Ethan?
That is a pretty weak fallback, I must say.
Wait. What was the fallback?
Let's see how he takes the criticism.
Yeah, my bad, dude. I should have spent a what did Ethan say hour every day instead of covering the slaughtered children that Israel was killing at the time.
I don't have time. The children are dying in Gaza. Anyway, what does Comrade Casey have to say about Ethan?
That is a pretty weak fallback, I must say.
Bro. Dude, okay. Am I wrong with this? But I didn't watch Ethan Klein until like a few months ago in October. Because Ethan started making entire segments dedicated to Hasan, and it became this huge drama. Did Ethan make segments dedicated to covering Hasan and covering Israel Palestine in the past, or was it just offhanded comments that Norsar Radio like picked out and other people picked out, like on the Snark Reddit picked out? So was it like entire segments dedicated to shitting on Hasan, or was it small little comments here and there that people that were watching the show were like, okay, that's kind of weird. Why would he say that and do that stuff? So like, okay, let's just be real clear about this. Hasan's chat said like, oh yeah, you should have been watching him earlier. Like you were doing defense for him way too long. And Hasan's like, well, yeah, I didn't have an hour of my time every day to watch his show, to find the specific clips, to criticize those clips, and kind of steer him in the right direction. Because I was covering other stuff, like I was covering the genocide. I don't have time to watch an hour of his content every freaking day to correct the one little comments that he'll say here and there. And now Ethan's like, that's such a coward argument. He wasn't making an argument. He's just saying that he's not watching your show every day. Like, it's literally just a statement of what he's doing. He was covering the genocide. He wasn't watching your show. I know people are like, oh, you say I don't understand too much, but I don't understand what they're criticizing him for.
I should have spent
like,
what did Ethan say hour every...
Bro, he's not saying that he's not responding to Ethan's criticism of him because he's covering genocide, which is what Ethan's chat and what Ethan's Reddit thinks that Hasan is doing. Hasan quite literally did respond to what Ethan said about him, and he made a video. It's on his main channel. You can go watch it. He quite literally did respond to all of that, and he responds to shit like his pro-Crimea thing and his pro-Russia thing and his pro-China thing every single fucking day. He responds to that stuff all the time, and Ethan's like, well, every time you get criticism, you just say, I can't talk about it now, I'm too busy talking about genocide. Dude, he talks about this shit all the fucking time. I'm losing my mind. Why is his producer talking about this too? Hasan has never said, I can't deal with criticism right now. I'm covering genocide. The only thing close to that has been Hasan saying, I'm going to ignore Ethan for the moment because I'm focused on the election. As soon as the election ended, he made a video responding to everything that Ethan said. Yeah, and they also debated about this whole thing during leftovers. Oh my god, dude. Ah, Jesus.
Every day, instead of covering the slaughtered children that Israel was.
Hold on, I just gotta get the
guy
full
like you,
context of
and
this.
I bought that without looking too far into it, but I absolutely made a mistake of making that show with him. That was 100% my bad. Let's see how he takes the criticism.
Yeah, my bad, dude. I should have spent a what did Ethan say hour every day instead of covering the slaughtered children that Israel was killing at the time.
I don't have time. The children are dying in Gaza. Anyway, what does Comrade Casey have to say about Ethan?
That is a pretty weak.
Dude, you literally do this shit too. You find people that send you clips. Hasan was just watching a video of a guy who compiled clips. You get people to compile clips for you. Also, like, this is a good thumbnail. He looks so fucking evil in this thumbnail. Okay, whatever. But yeah, you do this fucking shit too, Ethan. You don't have time to watch through hours, like, fucking 10 hours of video every single day from Hasan. You don't have time to do that. You get people to send you clips because you're too busy covering, like, I don't know, the newest YouTuber's dick pics that he sent to an underage girl. You're too busy doing that shit to actually, like, come up with clips yourself. Hasan's watching a guy who was a fan of the podcast that made notes of stuff that you did that was fucking stupid and gross. And you're mad about that? Because you're like, oh, well, why didn't Hasan find all of these clips himself? Why didn't he scroll through my fucking, like, 12 hours of show I do every week to find all of the shit that I've said about Israel and Palestine himself?
Weak fallback, I must say.
The slaughtered children. How can I ever respond to any criticism? Anyway, let's watch a ton of hater videos about someone I don't like and I don't want to watch their content.
Time. You're right. My bad. So for years I was
like, honestly, this is
okay. So now Ethan says Hasan's watching a ton of hater videos about Ethan because Hasan doesn't want to watch his content. Yeah, why the fuck would he want to watch your content? Why would he want to watch 12 hours of video footage every week when he can just watch someone who compiled clips of you over the course of a year? So, like, why would he want to watch your fucking, like, your fucking shit that's just, like, spilled out all over the place where you have no kind of form to your show at all versus, like, a well-researched video that actually compiles and condenses clips of you?
cynically fucking using the death of human people, the tragic fucking death of civilians as like a fucking veneer of coverage for his own pathetic ass not wanting to engage with real criticism.
Was fooled too by him. Yeah, that's what I should have done. I should have centered. The conversation around like petty drama between me and my podcast co-host, so that like all these other parasitic drama farmers can like attach themselves to that conversation.
Unlike I'm doing right now, watching Comrade Casey
as well. You know, make money for everybody.
Yeah.
And every single day, not talk about issues that actually mattered. You know?
While literally promoting gossip drama channels that are like, just hate me. I mean, and Comrade Casey is like cringe. And
I don't think Comrade Casey is trying to be like gossip. He's trying to.
Dude, Ethan, you're literally describing your channel, a fucking hateful gossip drama channel. And you're saying that Comrade Casey, who compiled clips of your show, is a hateful drama farmer channel. I mean, once again, accusing someone of being a hypocrite is like the lowest form of political discourse, but is just so applicable here. Like the projection is staggering. Could like do some he could do some shit in the spiritual plane with the level of projection he's doing right now.
I do he's trying to video essay your ass.
Yeah, he's video essaying my ass. You're right. I was gonna say like Comrade Casey is like cringy and creepy and a fucking total dumbass, and he sounds like a dumbass. Like I don't know how you listen to that, but
you've listened to 30 seconds of his video and you're saying he sounds like a dumbass. I don't know how people can listen to it. Why don't you give the video a watch, you fucking idiot?
Bad Empanada is legitimately an unhinged, fringe, lunatic freak, and he has been straight up promoting him. It's pretty incredible.
Once again, Ethan actually promoted Lonerbox, saying that Lonerbox was a better alternative to Hasan, and Lonerbox defends genocide. What has Bad Empanada done? Bad Empanada's made a few videos about you and your wife. I guess he made a video where he was playing as Hamas, killing IDF soldiers. Like, who gives a fuck? That's what a first-person shooter is. You kill soldiers in a first-person shooter. That's what you have against Bad Empanada? Oh yeah, and he made some unhinged tweets on Twitter sometimes. No, he hasn't promoted Bad Empanada. And every time Hasan mentions Bad Empanada, he always says, like, yeah, he's had some unhinged videos in the past, and he makes unhinged tweets, but in this one specific video, he's made some good points. Like, that is the definition of responsibly platforming someone. You're using their content to make a point while keeping, like, the person who made the content in proper context. Like, you're giving proper context. Ethan was just like, oh, Lonerbox, you look smart. Tell us about your academic background. And he's like, I have no academic background. Okay, well, tell us about Israel and Palestine. Well, I don't think Israel's committing a genocide, and I think Hamas needs to get wiped off the face of the earth. Okay, well, that doesn't really fly in the face of reality. I mean, Yoav Gallant has said there's no more military targets in Palestine. And Lonerbox is like, well, I think there still is. And Ethan's like, oh, okay. Well, he's the expert. Everyone go watch Lonerbox. Hasan's a fucking dumbass. Lonerbox is the real leftist. You should go to Lonerbox to get your information. Yeah, that's what Ethan does.
No. And you're doing it right now, dude. You're the one claiming he was a friend. At least admit to it and say you're sorry. Aww.
Yeah, apologize for making the show with me. And this is awesome.
That actually mattered, you know? And you're doing it right now, dude. You're the one claiming he was a friend. At least admit to it and say you're sorry. Aw. Does it hurt your feelings? Does it hurt your feelings that I didn't know the full scope of his commentary? Oh, I'm sorry. Talk to me when he spends, I don't know, a month and a half actively trying to get you deplatformed, okay? Are you the real victim here?
Are you? I don't know. It seems like...
Oh, Ethan shakes his head like that's not what Ethan's been doing this entire time. That is quite literally what you've been doing this entire time. I mean, go back to this. He's like, no, I haven't been trying to get him deplatformed. Yeah, Lonerbox should write an Indeed. This would actually be a good meme, like an Indeed job application, and it's Lonerbox posting for Israeli snipers. He's like, need to hire some snipers. This is a description of the job. I'm gonna write out the description for sniper jobs because I know how sniper jobs actually work. People don't know how sniper jobs actually work.
Sorry. Talk to me when he spends, I don't know, a month and a half actively trying to get you deplatformed, okay? Are you the real victim here?
Are you? I don't know. It seems like you are.
Are you the real victim here, chatter? Do you feel so...
I genuinely don't know how people watch him. Like, he is so disgusting to his chat. He is so mean-spirited and disgusting and condescending to his chat.
This is one of my favorite arguments from Ethan. He'll say that Hasan is so mean to his chat while also being audience captured. Hasan is audience captured, but he's also simultaneously extremely mean to his chat. I mean, unlike Ethan, who just bans anyone who disagrees with him and ignores his chat altogether, but whatever. Yeah, and like he's just so hateful towards Hasan right now. He's like, oh, Hasan is such a scumbag. He's doing such gross stuff. Like, Hasan has never said anything remotely like that about Ethan.
matters. And then he builds me up like I'm basically just a Jewish Nazi. And then he gets mad at his own audience for being like, you should have never made that show with him. You should just.
Wow, I think Ethan stumbled upon the definition of Zionism. Hey, you're in the Twin Cities? That's so cool. Yeah, I'm like 20 minutes outside of the Twin Cities.
Apologize and move on. And he's like, I didn't know. I was busy covering a genocide. It's like, well, yeah, of course they think that because you're the one that told them that.
Did the show for 2 years.
2 years, man. He never saw anything in those 2 years. But now all of a sudden everything is clear. Oh man, he hated Arabs that whole time.
Honestly, that condescending attitude he has is part of the reason why I stopped watching him personally. It was honestly for me, it was after the whole Ukraine Russia thing. Because at the time, I thought it seems like Russia's going to invade Ukraine, but he was so adamant, like, no, you're dumb if you think that. If you think Russia's going to invade Ukraine, you're stupid. And I'm like, well, I guess maybe I started to self-doubt myself. Mm-hmm. But then once he was proven wrong, then he calls everyone stupid for listening to him, I guess. Or I
He's
forget
like,
exactly.
I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, I'm just an idiot.
And then when he interviews the Yemeni kid.
Jesus Christ. Okay. This is not going to be a short stream. I think we've watched like 10 minutes and I've been streaming for about an hour and a half. So I think this guy Love is straight up the stupidest person on the show. His main criticism of Hasan is that he said Russia was not going to invade Ukraine because it would be stupid if they did. That was not an isolated opinion to Hasan. I would say the vast majority of the progressive online left at that point was saying the US is kind of like fear-mongering about Russia invading. And Putin's not going to invade because it would be so stupid if Putin invaded. Putin's pretext for invasion was that NATO was encroaching on Ukraine. But the most surefire way to beef up NATO security would be by invading Ukraine. The best way to remind everyone how important NATO is going to be by invading. Oh, that's not Love? Wait, who is it? Nate? Sorry, I don't. Okay, maybe that wasn't Love. I don't fucking. Well, okay, I guess Love is kind of dumb too. But I haven't seen like, I don't know. Love seems to be the biggest ass kisser on the show, I'll say. Well, whoever that fucking guy was, but anyway, so saying Hasan is condescending to his chat is fucking hilarious. Like, Hasan probably is the person that treats his chat the best. He has no paywall on his chat at all. These guys have an entire fucking episode only for paying members. They ban their paying members from commenting because they say like something mildly critical about Ethan. They say that they want to paywall the last 30 minutes of their show. Hasan doesn't paywall anything. He doesn't even run ads on his Twitch stream anymore. Hasan lets his fans make fan channels that actually pay them money because he gives away his content for free. So once again, criticizing Hasan for being mean to his chat is one of the dumbest things they can do. Point 2, criticizing Hasan for saying Putin is not going to invade Russia is one of the stupidest things they can do also, because everyone was saying Putin would not invade Russia, and it's a dumb idea for Putin to invade Russia. And turns out it was a dumb idea for Putin to invade Russia. So, like, Hasan got vindicated at the end of the day because Russia's kind of a shittier place now than it was 3 years ago when they started the invasion of Ukraine. So yeah, saying that he yells at his chat is dumb. Saying that he should have been watching Ethan the entire time, but instead of covering the genocide is really stupid. And the other stupid thing is, Ethan's like, oh yeah, I was a liberal. I was making fun of Jordan Peterson. Hasan was making fun of Jordan Peterson. So we started making a podcast together, like criticizing Republicans. And, what is this? FYI, his tweets are gone unless folks took screenshots. I'll keep looking. Who are you talking about, Spencer? Bad Empanada? Okay, but anyway, Ah, shit. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I was saying that Hasan, like, made a podcast with Ethan because they were both attacking Republicans. And then every time they did have a difference of opinions on stuff like socialism, on stuff like Israel, Palestine, on stuff like Ukraine, Russia, China, they would always hash it out, and Ethan would end up agreeing with Hasan. So how is Hasan to blame for not understanding Ethan's true intentions and his true positions on things, when every time Ethan would confront Hasan with it, Hasan would explain his position, and then Ethan would be like, okay, that makes sense. I guess I agree with you now. Like, Ethan's like, oh, yeah, you didn't see the signs, Hasan. You're so fucking stupid. You just went with me anyway. It's like, well, behind closed doors, you were saying some vile shit about Israel and Palestine, defending Israel, while they're doing a genocide. That's behind closed doors, whereas every time you were with Hasan on the podcast, you would agree with him whenever, like, you had a disagreement. You would end up agreeing with him. So it's just like, why are you... And then you're saying he should watch your show to get a better context of how evil you've become? And you're criticizing him of watching Comrade Casey, someone who did watch your show and compiled all of the clips of your, like, pro-genocide defense? And you're criticizing him for that? It's just so fucking stupid. Like, he's just so hateful. He's grasping at any kind of tiny little thing to defend his position that Hasan is bad.
He goes, this is journalism.
Yeah, so it's just like, I mean, when you're covering politics, you're going to be wrong sometimes. That's just kind of how it is. So if you're going to be so aggressive to people and calling them stupid, once you fuck up, people are going to come at you even harder.
Right.
And you just have to accept it. But instead, he just gets pissed off. He's like, you're
Bro, Hasan was not wrong. It was stupid to invade. It was stupid for Russia to invade Ukraine. So Hasan was saying they wouldn't invade Ukraine. He was wrong on that regard, but he was not wrong on the regard that it was dumb for them to invade. They ended up doing it, and it was a dumb decision. The only thing Hasan was wrong in was thinking that Putin was a rational actor.
fucking dumb, you're stupid, you're annoying. It's like, come on, bro.
I think it's part of the zealous, like, devotion his fans have, is that, like, it's almost like an abusive relationship, like the way he talks to them. It's really quite fucking foul. I feel like if I talk to people, it's like that meme of like the ugly guy being like, you look nice today. Ew, HR. And then the handsome guy comes. You know, you've seen the meme.
I know the meme.
Oh my God, dude. Oh, that's sad. That is sad. Has Ethan just compared himself and Hasan to a meme where there's an ugly guy and a handsome guy, and Hasan is the handsome guy? That is really sad. So Ethan is now saying he's the ugly guy to Hasan's handsome guy in that meme where the guy's like, oh, you're looking good today. And then the fat, ugly guy comes over and he's like, oh, you're looking good today. And the woman's like, ah! And in that meme, in Ethan's headcanon, he's the fat, ugly guy that comes over and gets HR called on him. Holy shit, dude. That's kind of a self-report.
So if I
Controversial take, though, the way that Hasan yells at his audience, I like that.
I think it's, I mean, on the whole, there's a lot of...
I get why people don't like it.
I think it's a lot of times really gross. I think it's really gross.
I think it would be funny.
Yeah, if you don't like Hasan, then of course you're going to not like the way he yells at his audience. But like, if you're kind of neutral and you actually watch Hasan and you see the way that he does interact with his audience, I mean, dude, how many clips has Ethan played of Hasan having good interactions with his audience, and every time he has a good interaction, Ethan accuses him of being audience captured? He's like, whenever you're in agreement with your audience captured. Whenever you disagree with your audience, you're an abusive streamer. You're in an abusive relationship with your audience. It's like, once again, if it's good in Ethan's mind, he'll come up with any kind of reason to defend it. If it's bad in Ethan's mind, then you're bad kind of no matter what. Just like religious thinking, kind of non-falsifiable claims. Yeah, any kind of interaction you want to find with Hasan, it's abusive to his chat. Any kind of interaction where it's positive, well, it's also bad because Hasan is audience captured. It's ridiculous.
Sometimes, but other times it is condescending to his own audience.
It's like sometimes it's fine, obvious, but I mean, like anything, this time it's really gross. I mean,
Are your feelings hurt? Are your feelings hurt that I covered genocide instead of whatever the Ethan was talking about? My bad.
Yeah. So anyway, let's just get our Geiger counters out because there's a lot to say about this motherfucker. And he is begging me to put on the hazmat suit and look for some uranium.
Oh my God. This is my favorite. This is like my favorite Ethan Klein trope where he always says, I'm hiding my true power level. It's like, I have so much stuff. You don't want to go there, bro. You don't want to go there. Just if I take my shirt off, it's happening, bro. It's going down. It's like, bro, you don't even know how much content I have about you. And I'm going to do this. It's like that whole I don't know. I think Ethan thinks he's Kendrick Lamar. Like he quoted Kendrick before. And what was that line in Kendrick's song? What was that line in Euphoria? He's like, "Oh, if you're chipped by my throwaway, you're hurt." Or the one where he's like, "You don't say no lies about me, and I won't say truth about you." Stuff like, I could go even further, right? That's kind of what Ethan's doing. He's like, me and my bro Kendrick, we're gonna take you down, dude. I have so much stuff. I won't even say the truths about you that I have.
And I mean, there is just, I'll be honest, in preparation for what I'm working on, I have never
on the beat.
dealt with something with so much content. Like
right. That's what Ethan said. It's time to pop out and show them.
Overwhelmed with the amount of receipts and shit that this dude fucking has. And by the way, if he wants to watch 10-year-old videos of me...
Hold on, I missed this.
In preparation for what I'm working on, I have never dealt with something with so much content. Like, I am overwhelmed with the amount of receipts and shit that this dude fucking has. And by the way...
So that's interesting, right? He says, I'm overwhelmed by the amount of receipts and shit that this guy has. So he's not saying I've poured through hours of footage finding stuff. I mean, he's obviously getting these clips sent to him. And what group of people online, what community has thousands of clips of Hasan? Yeah, it's Destiny's community. So yeah, just once again, like more evidence that he's getting these clips fed to him. I've been inundated with all of these clips pouring over me.
If he wants to watch 10-year-old videos of me talking about how I'm Islamophobic because of this video from 10 years, let's talk about Hasan fucking frat bro videos. You know how people call him Steven Crowder of the left? Here, watch this shit.
Oh no, are we doing this?
I'm saying he's pulling up.
Oh my God, dude. Dan is straight up being like, oh fuck, why are we doing this? Why are we bringing this up? Did Dan not know that this was a segment that they were doing? Dan's like, oh shit, are we actually doing this? Dude, he genuinely feels uncomfortable. Like it sounds like he's genuinely uncomfortable at this point in time. Also, I just want to say one thing. Hasan has talked about like the past stuff that he's done. He's talked about his transphobia. He's talked about his misogyny. I haven't seen this, but Hasan has talked about this and he's explained how he's wrong. Has Ethan ever gone back and said, this is why I was wrong on my Islamophobia from 10 years ago and even earlier than that? Like a few months ago, I said that Israel-Palestine was not segregated because there was a 20% Palestinian population in Israel. I was wrong. Just because there's a 20% Palestinian population in Israel does not mean that there is no segregation. That's actually evidence that there is segregation. So has he gone back and said, I was wrong? Did he go back and say, I was wrong, Yoav Gallant is not a good guy, he is not a moderating force, he is actually not anti-war, he's actually pro-war, he's pro the expansion of the draft, he's pro getting hostages out and resettling Gaza, he's pro invading Lebanon, he's pro invading Syria, he's pro-war, he's just like differing from Netanyahu on certain political things. Has he ever said that? No. He hasn't. He never admits when he's wrong, and when he's called out for it, he just either ignores it or doubles down and defends his past positions. And that is a meaningful difference. When Hasan gets called out for his past transphobia takes, he'll just say, yes, I was wrong, and I've tried to do better. I've been an ally to trans people now, and I think that's pretty fair to say. Ever since, like, I don't know, 2021 is when I first started watching Hasan, he has been pro-trans people, and this, honestly, the stuff that got me into Hasan was his takedown of Jordan Peterson, because Jordan Peterson was anti-trans. And that's what really got me watching Hasan videos, was his videos on Jordan Peterson, because I thought they were fucking hilarious. Aiden Ross literally offered $100K for anyone that could find dirt in Hasan a few months ago. That's why they hate him so much. There's literally nothing to talk about other than his house and outfits. Wait, is that going to be what this video is?
10-year-old.
Because I saw in the subreddit that it's like Hasan saying Lady Gaga might have a penis, and that's like one of the. But whatever. Let's just get there.
Wait, hold on. I think one of these got claimed. Let me double check it. I think I have it uploaded.
Wait, this
on
is
my end.
uploaded by the H3 show. That's me. What the fuck?
That's not us.
Like, he.
Wait, Ethan. What is this? You're finding someone else's clips that they uploaded on their channel about Hasan? Isn't that what you just accused Hasan doing about you?
He literally. Oh, it's age restricted because he says something so transphobic. It's actually age restrictable. I'll just. We'll censor out the part, but you guys got to see this. You have to.
We talked about this on Leftovers, didn't we?
Well, he wouldn't let me watch it. I wanted to watch it because I was like, let's own our, like, I like to own everything I've been through that's like, cringy and bad. And he's like, I don't want to watch. I can't watch it. Like, no, we're not going there.
Did we really not actually watch it on air?
No, we never did. He didn't want me to.
Damn.
But he wants to pull up old clips. So let's take a look at this fucking bro in a wine cellar.
Well, that was Comrade Casey that is pulling all these old clips, right?
Well, he's
but he's reacting.
But he's reacting to them.
The let's get out of here rule. This one's been passed on for centuries and helped even the Vikings get laid. I actually lost my virginity with this rule, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. So you're in the club.
Really?
You finally use the 5-second rule because you're smart now, because you follow bro tip, and you start talking to this girl. It finally leads to hooking up. And you're bold enough to grab an ass cheek and then maybe even get some hand play downstairs. What is the next move? You need to get out of there, and you need to get out of there fast. Hopefully with the girl. So you have to use these 5 magic words. Let's get out of here. You might think, wait a minute, there's no way this is gonna work. Yes, it does. Let's get out of here. It's time to get out of there, and it's time to separate her from her herd, meaning her crowd of girlfriends that are going.
Bro, this is quite literally like Andrew Tate. This is Andrew Tate.
Going to do their best to cock
it's not
block
that bad.
Okay, fine. It's
Definitely
like,
not
get him
Andrew
home
Tate.
and then like lock him in the basement and make them do porn for you. Fine. There's that aspect.
Did Ethan actually say the N-word? I mean, okay, this is definitely bad, but does Hasan defend this? I mean, Hasan said he doesn't want to react to it because he's so embarrassed about it. And Ethan's like, oh, well, when we reacted to our old cringy stuff, Hasan said he didn't want to react to it because it's embarrassing. But I'm going to react to it now. So he's admitting it's bad, right? So, I don't know. Like, I think that there could be a really easy solution to this. If Ethan doesn't like Hasan watching old clips of him, he can go through the old clips. He can go through the Comrade Casey video and say, I agree with these things and this is why it's correct. Or I disagree with these things and this is how I've changed my mind on it. That's something that Ethan can do to really clear this up. But at this point, he's just bringing on stuff to embarrass Hasan when he knows Hasan disavows whatever happened in this video. So it's just fucking kind of evil.
But it's like pickup artists that we make fun of, like, serially.
You because they're fat and lonely.
Oh,
If
that's
Let's Get Out of
good.
Here
You guys-
are going to do their best to cock her from her herd, meaning her crowd of girlfriends that are going to do their best to cock block you.
Look at him. He's like a fucking prophet. He's like, it's like in his mind, he has kind of like choir gospel music behind him. Oh, he's like, yes, my children. He's like the Joker conducting the destruction of the hospital as the city blows up around him, and he's like, I live in chaos. I reign supreme. Dude, he is so delusional. But this is why I like covering him, because he's actually kind of funny and he's fun to make fun of. Whereas Ben Shapiro does not believe any of the shit that he says anymore. And it's sad because Ben Shapiro has more power, but I feel like I can change less minds talking about Ben Shapiro. And it's just so not fun to talk about. He does not give a fuck what he says. Whereas Ethan is fully invested in this shit. And he's hard right now. Ethan is fully erect in his pants, being like, yes, yes, I can't wait for this drama that I'm bringing forth into the world.
Because they're fat and lonely. If let's get out of here.
That's a bro tip. Give it up to my bro. By the way, I dare you to find a clip of me saying anything loud.
Listen, just so we're fully there is not.
Okay. Wait. Ethan said I dare you to find a clip of me saying anything that bad. Okay. All right, I'm not gonna do it, but I mean maybe eventually, but.
Okay, fine, I don't dare you, but I don't.
Yeah, don't dare.
I don't think I've ever been like, hey guys, here's how you're gonna coerce women to fuck you at the bar.
Yeah.
What? Wait till you hear what he says about trans people, which I don't know if I could show you, but I'll paraphrase it.
Here doesn't work. You exchange numbers. She leaves. You leave. You guys talk later, and you continue on your conquest for the rest of the night.
That's
if the let's
right.
get out of here does work, you have successfully left the club with a hot girl, hopefully, in the cab, and you're going to your place or her place. Now, once you're in a more intimate one-on-one situation, it's much easier to get things moving forward. If you hadn't played the finger fun already in the club, now is the time to use.
It's fucking wretched. Like,
are we sure this isn't satire?
I mean, listen.
Because it's so over the top.
The way that he's.
This was on the Young Turks, right? Like this was like a segment that he had on the Young Turks.
Yeah.
Is that my understanding?
I just wanted to play this really quick if it ever does load, but this is just a clip of Hasan actually addressing
his holiday break working on a content nuke on you is just very sad at this point.
I mean, if
He
you guys
implied he's going to spend his holiday break working on a content nuke on you is just very sad at this point. That does make me sad, but there's not really much to do about that.
Yeah, this is such an abusive relationship. Hasan reading calmly something that his chat said and agreeing with it and like responding to it.
Yeah, I know. I saw he brought up bro tips. A satirical show from 13 years ago that was deleted off of the internet 12 years ago that I have used as a formative experience talking about how my personal political journey and my personal political ideology has changed. Ironically enough, it's actually what I have pointed to when talking about Ethan's like many different N-word with a hard R compilations. Like, I've literally talked about how I have also changed organically. I've grown, I've reformed, and it instructs my political commentary. And I've even defended Ethan time and time again on numerous occasions. Whenever people point out his old material, saying this does not demonstrate who he is now. So it's kind of funny that he's like, no. Look at his older clips from a time where like it looks like it was like Vaseline on the lens. I think everyone has the capacity to grow, and I hope you guys understand that. This is one of the fundamental principles that I've always applied in my commentary and in my community building in general. We're all imperfect. That's it. I will always be an advocate for rehabilitation. I will always be an advocate for growth and change. That's a very important part of why I do what I do. Okay? Just so you understand. The only instance where I will ever use someone's like old commentary is if they have not changed their perspective from that commentary whatsoever. So no, I don't think that the Brotiv stuff, especially considering that it was a shitty attempt at satire to mirror the existing like PUA style format, is appropriate. He implied he's going to spend his holiday break working on a content nuke on you.
Anyway, so yeah, basically Hasan said it's sarcasm. It is supposed to be satire. Even with it being satire, it's like poorly done. And I do think there's an argument to be made that, you know, it didn't really get the point across, where the point of satire is to, like, the effective rhetoric of satire should be kind of the opposite of whatever the on its face rhetoric is. If you're saying that, if you're trying to be like a bro jock, you should be doing a good job of highlighting how negative the idea of being like a bro jock kind of guy is. And Hasan's talked about how that kind of satire was probably a net negative on society, or like at least on his community that he's trying to develop. And he's used that as a learning experience to be better in the past. And once again, Hasan has disavowed those videos. He actually has spent time talking about those videos. Ethan Klein hasn't spent any kind of time talking about the videos of him in the past. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he's never actually disavowed any of those videos in the past. And if he's really worried about Hasan watching a video of like 10 months ago when he said there's no segregation happening in Israel and Palestine, then there's a really easy way you can fix that. You can say that there is, like, you've educated yourself in those last 10 months and there is segregation happening. But he's not going to do that because he kind of likes the segregation, to be honest with you. So,
of it.
I mean, I think
they've always been left leaning. It seems surprising.
Doesn't see, even if it's satire, it's kind of like a little too like, well, is it? You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing satire, you got to kind of make it obvious.
Yeah.
Utilize those magic fingers. Take her back.
Like, just saying these jokes without being like, just kidding.
Well,
back to your house.
Have to.
Show off that
It just all
impressive
depends on the context.
vinyl collection that no one else gives a shit about, and go into town.
yeah, Emily, never forget, Ethan admitted to protecting Jimmy after it came out Jimmy had been sexually harassing one of the crew. Is that worth watching? Because I saw this clip where it's like, I saw this clip, but I didn't really want to watch it because I didn't know anything that much about it. I guess it's like, timeline of Ethan encouraging Jimmy's Islamophobic jokes, even if it targeted his own employee. I don't know. Let me know if that's worth watching on stream, but otherwise I'm just gonna like stick to this main content.
He's a bro.
Once you bring them back home, it doesn't matter how impressive your Spotify playlist is, or however many stamps you've collected in 21 years of virginity. The only thing that'll matter is your teacup pig.
Your what? Teacup?
Teacup pig.
Oh.
Like a little.
You don't have that.
Your cock?
What the? What? Your cock? No, dude. It was a fucking trend where people bought little tiny pigs, and then they would have them around, and it would look cute until they grew fat, and then they'd send them off to a farm to get butchered. But holy crap! It is quite obvious that this is satire. Like, Hasan is playing like a dumb frat bro who's kind of a bore, right? He's like, oh yeah, you gotta treat women like sluts and you have to press all the right buttons and then they'll open up to you. It's like a puzzle box that you need to solve, and then you can put your dick inside it. That's what you need to do. Like, that's the character Hasan's playing, and Ethan's like, Wow, I can't believe how misogynistic Hasan was back then. He called his dick a teacup pig. That was kind of fucking hilarious.
Once you bring them back home, it doesn't matter how impressive your Spotify playlist is, or however many stamps you've collected in 21 years of virginity. The only thing that'll matter is your teacup pig.
Your what? Teacup?
Teacup pig.
Oh.
Like a little.
You don't have that.
Your cock?
Oh, I was just picturing like you just had a little teacup pig.
That would certainly be a curveball.
It doesn't really matter what you have. You should move on to the sex as soon as possible. Pour a glass of yellowtail.
Dude, he was literally about to crack up there before they cut the scene.
What you have, you should move on to the sex as soon as possible. Pour a glass of yellowtail because you have nothing better. Put some Marvin Gaye on and get your freak on for the first time in your life ever. You're welcome. And that concludes our bro tip of the week. Leave your comments and ideas and opinions that I really truly care about in the section below. And if you don't, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to have sex with your dog.
Nice. That's not the one. That's not the crazy.
Oh my god. Cue Ethan playing a clip that he thinks is a total takedown of Hasan, and then realizing it doesn't actually do the thing that he thought it did, and then like immediately jumping to a next clip, trying to like frantically type away at his keyboard, trying to find something that will show Hasan is a piece of shit.
Crazy one. Let's see here.
Being told it is legit and he apologized for it, which he wouldn't do if it was satire.
True.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
No, that's not fair enough. If you say that was a dumb segment to do, that doesn't mean that it's not satire. You can say that, yes, it was satire, but it was still effectively a bad piece of rhetoric to put out there because it could be seen by people that are stupid like Ethan as him being serious. So there's a very clear reason why you wouldn't want that content to exist anymore. Because people are going to look at that and think it's serious. And it is satire, but if people think it's serious, you should not have it out there and you should stop doing the segment. That is quite literally what you fucking guys are doing. Like, the reason that he apologized for putting it out is because it makes him look bad. And even though it doesn't disprove the idea that it's satire. And these two knuckleheads are kind of proving Hasan right that he shouldn't have put it out because people are fucking stupid and they're not going to be able to pick up on the subtext. And then at the final thing, it's like, I think there is probably better satire you can do on like the pickup bro type of culture than that. Like, it is kind of funny. He had some funny things like your Spotify playlist doesn't matter. Just show her your teacup pig. That's kind of funny. But like at the end of the day, it's just not really that effective at poking holes in gym bro culture. It's more of like a high school or college level skit.
You know what? You know what's the best way to get girls laid? Get them drunk and finger them at the bar. This is bro tips. This is Hasan who is.
Hey, thanks for the super chat. Yeah, scraping underneath the barrel. I mean, dude, Ethan's done this multiple times where he will see Hasan doing something sarcastic and he'll be like, I can't believe he did this. Or he'll look at Mizkif saying that Hasan shouldn't be like, he'll look at Mizkif saying that Hasan shouldn't be allowed on Twitch anymore because he is driving advertisers away. And then Ethan will be like, see, he's serious. I don't think he was lying about that. And then they'll be like, well, he literally said he was lying 2 seconds later. He just made that for a clip for live stream fails. And Ethan will be like, oh, well, it's still realistic to me. It's like, dude, look at how eager his face is. This is all you need to know about what he's doing. He's just finding anything that he thinks remotely could take down Hasan. And he's just like eating it up. He's like a fucking trash goblin right now, just like grabbing anything that looks shiny and like sticking it in his mouth before he really knows how it's going to taste. I mean, it's the exact same thing with the election, where he was trying to find clips of Hasan saying you shouldn't vote for Kamala Harris, and then clip after clip after clip, he wasn't finding it. And he's like, okay, well, this isn't working. This isn't working. This isn't working. It's like, you're not doing anything productive, Ethan? How's this segment going to end
women. Where's the other ones? Did he really fucking get these off the internet? Like, I'm sure I can find them, and I will. Trust me on that.
Why didn't you have the clips ready to go? If you know, dude, if he knows about these clips, how does he not have a link to them? Or how does he not have the files on his computer? He's trying to live find clips on YouTube. This is what my fucking mom does. When she's like, oh, I need to show you I need to show you a clip from Dancing with the Stars. Let me just find it on YouTube. This is what my, like, 55-year-old mother does. And Ethan's doing this shit too?
But anyway, you guys get the idea. Like, here, this. Rare. Oh, this is, okay. We were going to watch old videos. Let's watch Rare.
Oh, you guys get the, what the fuck? Now he's literally watching a Rare cringe. Okay, so he's just YouTubing. He's just cruising through YouTube right now, finding anti-Hasan clips. How? Just remember, he started this episode criticizing Hasan for reacting to Norsar Radio, who is a fan of the show, who has watched the entire show for like the past few years and compiled clips of Ethan doing dumb shit in, like, very specifically, and then made a very specific video of a narrative of Ethan being pro-Israel and being a liberal Zionist. And Ethan is criticizing Hasan for watching that. And now he's just live cruising through YouTube trying to find cringe Hasan clips. What the fuck? This is a new, I don't think I've seen Ethan this low. At least he was getting like relevant clips, like topical clips when I was talking about the election, where he's going from clip to clip and he was getting people sending him things that had to do with the election. Now he's just like, rare cringe Hasanabe compilation, 187 subscribers.
Cringe Hasanabe compilation. I love rare cringe.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I'm Hasan Piker.
Dude, he literally looks like Steven Crowder. Like, the energy he's exuding is straight conservative bro.
I mean, he looks like Steven Crowder in the sense that he's like a bulky guy, specifically in this context. But, I mean, he does not look like Steven Crowder in terms of anything else.
I wish I could tell you that you're wrong, but somehow the aura... I don't think he gives Steven Crowder now, but in these videos, you're right. He looks and like feels so much like Steven Crowder.
I think he did like what Dave Rubin did.
Holy fuck, he's literally parroting Steven Crowder. Do these guys not understand it? The point of these videos, they're like, oh wow, I can't believe how much he looks and feels like Steven Crowder. That's who he's parodying. He's parodying these fucking conservative guys that are like giving men like male advice. It's literally called bro tips. They're like, I can't believe how much he looks like Steven Crowder and how much he sounds like him when he does these videos. And his mannerisms are... Have you heard of satire? Have you heard of the show SNL? Have you ever seen that?
But like the other direction. He realized that like he could farm more audience going that direction. And Dave Rubin thought, well, I can farm more audience going to the right.
What? So now he's saying Hasan is only a socialist because he knows he can farm audience there? I mean, once again, Ethan will fluctuate back and forth between Hasan is audience captured and Hasan is an abuser to his audience. Hasan abuses his audience. What? He's saying Hasan is a grifter to the left. So wait, does Hasan truly believe these socialist things, or is he grifting to the left? What?
Rubin did, but
the fuck?
Conservative bro.
I wish I could tell you that you're wrong, but...
Cringe Hasanabe compilation. I love rare cringe.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I'm Hasan Piker.
Dude, he literally looks like Steven Crowder. Like, the energy he's exuding is straight conservative bro.
I wish I could...
So, like, does he look like Steven Crowder, or is he exuding that energy? Whatever.
Tell you that you're wrong, but somehow the aura I don't think he gives Steven Crowder now, but in these videos, you're right. He looks and like feels so much like Steven Crowder.
I think he did like what Dave Rubin did, but like the other direction. He realized that like he could farm more audience going that direction. And Dave Rubin thought, well, I can farm more audience going to the right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Doesn't seem to be coming from a very
always
serious
been
place.
left leaning though. Dave Rubin did like a full flip. Like Dave Rubin was left to right.
By the way, speaking of which, have you noticed the co-host from?
So Ethan's accusing Hasan now of not being serious, and I guess what he's saying is Hasan started off as this conservative bro type of person, but then he decided to grift to the left. Once again, this is a parody. This is a satire of Steven Crowder. He started as a leftist progressive. He literally worked at the Young Turks, which at least was a leftist progressive like media network. Okay?
The Young Turks, Anna, what's her last name, has gone like full Trump.
No.
And Cenk too. They've both gone like pro-Trump. It's so crazy. Check it out. It's fucking weird.
They have?
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
be straight up.
No, they haven't, you fucking idiot. They're shifting to the right. They haven't gone. Cenk ran against Trump. Dude. Like, I know Cenk has done some stupid shit saying, like, Elon Musk has given me more attention than the Democrats ever have. And saying stuff like, oh, the establishment is dead now. Now we can finally start, like, making a push for, like, real worker reform. They haven't gone full Trump, though. Oh my God, he's so dumb. He's so fucking self-confident and so stupid.
I have watched a total of probably like 10 minutes of the Young Turks in my entire life.
Yeah, I don't know who's watching that stuff, but a lot of people apparently
have never really partaken.
Yeah.
This is Bro Tip. This week's Bro Tip is about bringing out the alpha.
Get a load of this thing, whatever this is. I would not want to be friends with someone that looked like this ever at any point in my life.
Holy shit, dude. Ethan is literally fucking brain dead. This is a parody. Hasan put that on to parody people that wear like, that have like tribal tattoos and wear beads, that wear stupid fucking cross necklaces. Hasan is parodying a guy who gives men advice. How? Oh my God. Watson, come here. Come here. Come here. I need to stress pet my dog because this video is freaking me out. Like, it's just been now. Now it's just been 5 fucking minutes of Ethan seeing Hasan do a parody and being like, oh, I can't believe how conservative he is. I can't believe how dumb he was back then. He's really changed since then. It's been... Okay, how long was this? 1:12. Okay, so it's been 8 minutes now of Ethan going, wow, Hasan was so bro-like. He's changed. It's been him taking a parody literally.
Tip is about bringing out the alpha male in you.
And I should have done more research, you guys, and I apologize. I didn't. I should have known that he actually dressed like this at one point and should have disassociated with him forever as a result.
You.
It's a fucking parody, dude. I mean, we've seen how Ethan dresses up, but I mean, oh my God, he's literally doing a character.
A few things to consider when you're thinking about Lady Gaga as a top contender.
Okay, this is the part that is so fucking transphobic that it gets me age restricted. So I'm going to mute it, and then I'll paraphrase it for you. Actually, no,
Wait,
you mute it.
We could put up the disavow thing. Is it really that bad?
Mute it, Nate, and I'll play it for Dan.
It doesn't work that way.
Mute it.
I got it muted.
Is it muted?
Yeah, I got it muted.
It's pretty shocking. Wait, oh, no. They can hear us. I just wanted to mute the video for them so I can play it for Dan.
I don't think...
We can't do that.
Okay, so I'll just play it, and then we can hit the button. Or put up
You want me to bring the volume up?
Bring the volume up. Do the disavow. We disavow this.
Yeah, there you go.
Contender for Babe of the Week should be the
Hold on.
This bro tip is about bringing out the alpha male in you.
Ow!
A few things to consider when you're thinking about Lady Gaga as a top contender for Babe of the Week should be the fact that she might have a penis. The fact that Lady Gaga might have a small penis does absolutely terrify me. Here's why the 5-second rule works.
I guess it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was disgusting.
You built it up to be
Yeah. Lady Gaga having a penis was like a big talking point in the 2010s. I remember hearing people talking about that. And Hasan, I mean, he's definitely playing like the type of like bro kind of transphobic guy who would be like, oh my god, a hot chick, but she might have a penis? Ew, get away from me. I mean, once again, this is why Hasan abandoned this shit, because even though he is trying to parody these types of things, he's also, while simultaneously parodying it for his audience, people outside of his audience are going to be watching that and seeing him and not understanding that it's a parody. But what's shocking to me is like Ethan, who knows Hasan, who did a podcast with Hasan, and who talked about bro tips with Hasan in the past, is taking this literally. Like, you've literally talked to the man who told you it was a parody, and you're still choosing to take it literally. Dude, Ethan is so far gone now. He is just unable to give any kind of charity to Hasan whatsoever, or just factually understand the things that Hasan is telling him. He has no ability to consume any kind of information that Hasan is sending his way, and then like processing it in a meaningful way. It's just in one ear, out the other.
I remember that was like a thing in the early 2010s that people speculated
she had a penis?
Yeah, I mean, not to say that it isn't fucked up, but that's why I didn't seem that shocked when he said that.
And my queen never denied it either. People, like reporters, would ask her, and she'd be like, "I don't know, do I?"
Yeah, she always kind of.
That's good. Actually, dope for her.
I know.
Make
She
him
also
look stupid.
references it in the telephone music video.
Just keep up the disavow. Just cover our bases. You know what I mean? Cheers.
Because when you start thinking for longer than 5 seconds, you're immediately not thinking with your dick and also thinking with this pesky thing up here that we like to call our brains. So once you start thinking with your brain, you're immediately going to psych yourself out. Come back again next week when we discuss the legendary question of all time. Old enough to count, old enough to mount? Question mark?
Ow!
I want to say thank you to Miley Cyrus for showing off her camel toe at the VMAs the other night. I always knew Hannah Montana was a little slut. Don't even.
Oh, that was the one.
Yeah, that one's way worse.
You know, it's times like this I just like to kick up my feet and honor my good old friend Hasan Piker, who likes to go through old footage and accuse people of being Islamophobic.
So at the VMAs the other night, I always knew Hannah Montana.
Dude. Ethan, once again, Ethan is just gone, dude. So, yeah. Hasan watched clips of you. Hasan hasn't gone through the N-word compilations of you, and I mean, you know that he hasn't gone through the N-word compilations that you've done. He's watched very real criticisms and defenses that you have done about defending Israel and their occupation of Palestine. You've defended that, and you've criticized people that have been against that, okay? You haven't gone back and said that the stuff that Hasan was reacting to is wrong and you disagree with it or it was taken out of context. But what you have done is instead been like, okay, you're doing that. Let me go find this parody that you did and take everything that you said in that parody literally, even though I've had this like multi-years long relationship with you, and throughout those years we've discussed this parody before, and you've said it's a parody, it doesn't actually reflect your views. I don't think that Hasan would say that it's not an effective rhetoric because it does make people sometimes think that Hasan actually believes in it, and it is a kind of a content goldmine for people that want to clip Hasan out of context. And Ethan will be like, I know all of that, but I'm going to ignore everything that you've told me over the years and instead choose to take these very like micro clips of you that are taken out of context at face value, even though you've told me it's a parody, I'm going to do that. And the reason I'm doing that is because you're criticizing me defending apartheid. It's the exact same thing that Ethan did when Hasan was criticizing him of defending Yoav Gallant. Hasan said, yeah, Yoav Gallant is not a moderating force, and Ethan should know that he's not a moderating force. And then Ethan says, actually, Yoav Gallant is a moderating force. But you know what? Why are people criticizing me for defending a genocidal freak that has killed hundreds of thousands of people? Why are people attacking me for that when Hasan said he doesn't have a problem with Hezbollah? And then he does this entire hit piece on Hasan, like seeming like he was trying to make the point that Hasan was defending Hassan Nasrallah, who was the leader of Hezbollah. And first of all, like, the hit piece that Ethan didn't actually prove his point. Hasan never said Hassan Nasrallah was a good guy, like Hila said about Yoav Gallant, and like Ethan later on defended. And then just once again, you're not able to take any kind of criticism. You always have to go on the attack. And that way, he is very Trumpy-like.
Santa was a little slut. Don't even try to hide it.
Yep. Just times like these, eh, folks?
And just once again, it's a fucking stupid, edgy joke where Hasan is playing the character of the type of guy that would be like, oh, these Disney kids are sluts. Like, that is like a kind of misogyny that people have, where they see these people they see these like little teenage kids on TV, and they'll be like, oh my god, why are these girls so slutty? That is kind of like a trope of guy who walks through the living room and he's like this conservative guy, and he sees what his kids are watching. He's like, oh my god, these girls on these Disney shows are so slutty. Like, that is what Hasan is parodying right here. And Ethan's like, yeah, parody is gonna parody. I shouldn't really stand up now because I'm tenting right now in my pants, and any kind of friction will make me explode.
Tana Montana was what? Wasn't she a child?
Who was what? Tana Montana?
Who?
Oh,
he really said Tana Montana? Okay, whatever.
Wait,
that's fine.
Tana, wait. Let me go back. You're
It's
right.
Hannah.
I always knew Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana. Wasn't that a child? Right? How old was she meant to be in that show? She was a child.
I think the show starts when she's 12.
She's
14?
12. She's 12. And
I don't know how far
what
it
is
goes
he saying
into
about her, a 12-year-old girl?
For showing off her camel toe at the VMAs the other night, I always knew Hannah Montana was a little slut. Don't even try to hide it.
What was the Hillary Duff show?
Hold on, I just need to...
Lizzie McGuire.
Lizzie McGuire.
Oh my god, dude. Ethan is so proud of himself for this. Yeah, you cruised through the internet and you found a parody that Hasan made. And now you're like, you're like 1 degree away from literally jerking yourself off on set about your moral superiority over Hasan.
What is it?
So I'm seeing that
Dab me up, brother.
Miley Cyrus and Hasan are the same age. It's not really, you know what I mean?
She played a 13 to 14-year-old girl.
Dude, fucking Dan. He's like trying to have this pushback because he still likes Hasan. But dude, it's such fucking weak pushback. Just say it's a parody and Hasan actually... Like, just say Hasan was playing a comedic parody character and he realized that this is bad content, so he stopped doing it, and he doesn't actually agree with any of the things that he said. Why can't you just say that? Reframe the conversation to make it more about what Ethan's talking about, where Ethan's just saying, if you find old clips of me and you play old clips of me, then I'm going to find old clips of you and play those clips. But that's not what you were doing. Those are not clips of Hasan saying things he genuinely thinks. You're just taking things out of context and trying to make him look like this misogynistic, dumbass, transphobic bro character that he was playing for comedy.
Right, and he was watching it when he was 13.
And he was thinking when she was 13 that she's a little slut.
I'm just saying it's not like he's like way older than her. They're
He's an adult man saying that he knew a 13-year-old was a little slut. He wrote that joke as an adult man to be performed from an adult man.
All right, yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God. I don't know. Is Dan actually stupid? Because this is very poorly thought out pushback, and like it's kind of clear. It's kind of clear what you can do here. You don't need to defend the joke. The joke it's not supposed to be taken literally. It's not Hasan actually remembering himself in his 13-year-old body, watching a 13-year-old Hannah Montana, and then growing up and like 10 years later saying, oh yeah, I knew she was slutty. The joke is he's parodying people that do sexualize teenagers. That's the joke, right? There is a group of people, there is an issue in America and pretty much around the world of men sexualizing young girls. And I'm not going to lie, even in these Disney shows, there were some kind of suspect things of the showrunners sexualizing the children that were in the shows. I mean, there was that whole thing. What was it with the, what's that guy's name? That whole documentary that came out where he loved feet and that whole thing. It's like, yes, they were sexualized, and Hasan is pointing that out in this video. But once again, I don't think it's a good form of content because people outside of Hasan's community aren't going to get it. But it's just ironic because you would think that Ethan would understand that it's a parody, because I'm sure Ethan has done parodies like this before.
You know, let's just call a spade a spade.
The Hannah we know?
No, never met her. I don't hang around with people that young, frankly.
Look, this is a classic example of what happens when your father doesn't pay attention to you. You turn out to be a slut who's craving...
Dude, this is bananas.
Example of what happens when your father...
Yeah, it's literally called a fucking joke, Ethan.
...doesn't pay attention to you. You turn out to be a slut who's craving for attention, and then I tend to pick you up at a bar late at night and bang you out on the first date.
Yeah, has Ethan been watching Secular Talk? Why is he saying we need to call a spade a spade?
Bro, that is like, I don't know. I mean, it's so bad. That's the thing. Like, people want to hold all this shit over my head. Like, I feel like this is so bad. Like, how did he overcome all this? Like, this is crazy.
User Dubstep Piggy said.
Okay, so Ethan actually thinks this is literal. I'm so confused because I thought he talked to Hasan. He said at the beginning of this that on Leftovers he talked to Hasan, and Hasan said he didn't want to talk about it. So doesn't that mean that he knows that this bro tip segment was satire? So Ethan literally thinks that this was Hasan's position. Hasan was this raging misogynist, kind of a creeper on young girls, anti-trans, pro-rape culture type of guy. And Hasan grifted to the left. That's what Ethan... Okay, so Ethan is so far gone that he actually thinks Hasan was this guy. These were his genuinely held feelings and convictions, even though Hasan has said it's satire and people in his chat are telling him it's satire. Ethan thinks this is what Hasan genuinely believed, and he grifted to the left. He said he did the opposite of Dave Rubin, and he's like, this is so crazy. How did Hasan come out of... Wait, so he's saying, how did Hasan come out of these positions? So in the midst of character assassinating Hasan by showing these old clips of him, he's admitting that Hasan no longer holds these beliefs. But he thinks that Hasan genuinely did hold them, and now like progressed out of them. What the hell?
Bro, that is like, I don't know. I mean, it's so bad. That's the thing. Like, people want to hold all this shit over my head. Like, I feel like this is so bad. Like, how did he overcome all this? Like, this is crazy.
These are Dubstep Piggies.
Yeah, so he's like, how do you overcome this? So that means A, Hasan did hold these beliefs genuinely one time, and now B, he no longer holds these beliefs. So it's like, you're admitting he no longer holds these beliefs, so why are you talking about them? I guess the implication is that Hasan is reacting to stuff that Ethan no longer believes, but Ethan never goes back and says that he doesn't believe these things.
Says, just die and stop destroying this channel. Never.
Yeah. I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to pull those up. Ethan Klein, that's my wife, by the way. Wonderful lady. She donated 20. Hila, stop giving my money to YouTube.
Right.
Just do 5. Every time you raise it, we're just giving more money to YouTube. We've given enough to them, man. She said, this is radioactive cringe. Jesus Christ. Yeah. No, it's pretty shocking stuff. So anyway, yes, I'm working on something special.
Oh my God.
And I'm overwhelmed with the amount of stuff there is.
Dude, this is so embarrassing. Like, I really didn't think it'd get any worse than it could have, but this is really embarrassing. Like, he actually thinks that Hasan believed all of this stuff and he overcame it. If you genuinely think he believed all of that stuff and he overcame it, then why are you bringing it up when you yourself will admit he no longer believes these things and he disavows these things? Like, at the top of this segment, you even said he apologized for it. So what is the point of talking about it?
Never in my life.
Like, he's just an asshole.
Just such a huge
he's just an asshole at this point.
Pile of content. You know?
Okay, everybody's saying I'm weird for pointing out that they're the same age.
No,
I didn't. I was speaking up for somebody else. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
No, you're not. I'm with you, Dan. They are the same age.
Okay, so what? That's like saying
the same age.
That's like saying if you find child porn on someone's computer. I'm being hyperbolic, but it's like I found child porn on this person's computer, but it was filmed 10 years ago, and he was the same age. That's hyperbolic, right? But like
that's definitely way hyperbolic.
But it's kind of the same logic. It's like he's an adult saying that a child is sexy. You know, that she's a slut.
Talking about her at the moment where she's an adult.
Whatever. You can decide if you listen. You can decide if you think it's gross or not. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Fuck it. Kabish?
Once again, getting pushed on your position. He's just like, I don't care. Who cares? Just shuts down. Holy shit. It's actually kind of scary how hateful Ethan is. Ethan is so hateful. Like, he's just... There's nothing that anyone can say to change his mind on Hasan. He'll say that Hasan doesn't believe that anymore, but I'm still going to criticize him. He'll say that it's satire, but, you know, he still probably holds these beliefs, and he just grifted left. So what is it anymore? Like, at the beginning of the segment, you say he grifted left because he actually holds these beliefs. At the end of the segment, you're like, how did he overcome this stuff? So he doesn't even believe anything he's saying. Like, Ethan just says stuff, and he doesn't believe anything that he's saying. It's something that I was talking about with Lonerbox, too. Lonerbox was contradicting himself from the beginning of the sentence. By the end of the sentence, he was contradicting the beginning of the sentence. That's what Ethan's doing, too. He doesn't have any kind of coherent belief about Hasan. The only thing in his mind is that Hasan is bad, and I need to attack him for it. He doesn't have any problem with Hasan bringing up old clips because that's what Ethan's been doing this entire time. He doesn't have any... I mean, he says Hasan was grifting, but then he says he genuinely overcame it. It's crazy. He has nothing. Okay. Man, need to de-stress from this shit. What's a fun video to watch? I want to watch this video. I don't think I'm going to watch it now though. Oh, Jesus. That fucking stressed me out. Alright, let's just end with this. From Hasan's subreddit. Khaled celebrates his first birthday in a tent. Innocent laughter amid tears. I mean, this is not very happy, but it's kind of cute. This is actually making me really sad. Why did I put on this video? This is so sad. His birthday dinner is 3 specks of rice. Oh man, that kid is really cute though. Just give him another year and he's going to... Just give him 1 more year and he's going to learn how to kill Jewish people though, according to Ethan Klein and Rudy Giuliani. Okay, let's see. Yeah, man, this is really sad. So let's just read this description. Today we celebrated Khalid's first birthday, but it's not a typical celebration. Khalid was born amid tragedy, surrounded by destruction, and living in a small tent became our reality. Yet Khalid, in his first year, Khalid experienced a life completely different from other children. No warm bed, no colorful toys, just a crowded tent shared with 27 people where he spends his days between the cries of children and the sound of wind hitting the tent walls. Yet Khalid managed to bring smiles to our faces with his innocent voice and laughter, which made us forget life's burdens even for a moment. Today, as Khalid eats his canned food, looking happy as if the world belongs to him, we realize that children have an extraordinary ability to adapt even in the harshest circumstances. Khalid teaches us that life goes on and hope always exists, no matter how faint it seems. We celebrate his first birthday with small candle and big wishes. We pray that Khalid will have the life he deserves, full of joy and peace, far from this harsh reality. Watch Khalid's video and join us in wishing for a brighter future for him in the years to come. Please consider donating to support my family, my little children, and my sick father. So it's just like, this is the type of people that Ethan Klein... This is the type of people that Ethan Klein does not want to have equal rights with Israelis, because the Israeli Jews are so evil and racist that they want this kid to die. They straight up want this kid to die. And we have to follow the genocidal, evil wishes of the ruling class that have been oppressing people like this for their entire lives. Oh my god. Anyway. It's sad, but... Anyway, I'm gonna probably end the stream here. I was looking for this other video, but can't really find it right now. So, I just want to say thanks all for watching, and I'm probably going to be reacting to that Norsar video about Ethan later on. Comrade Casey, Norsar Radio, if you're still out there, hit me up, send me an email if you want to come on and talk. We can just like talk about whatever. We could also hang out like in person. I don't know how close you are to Minneapolis, but we can do that. That'd be fun. Yeah. It is fun covering Ethan, but in small doses, man. It gets really tiring to fight against this liberal genocide denial. It's just really sad, but like it's the most important issue of our time. And how does Ethan Klein choose to spend his time addressing it? He only addresses the people that are being activists against the genocide that's happening right now. So that's all for today, and I'm sure we're going to have more stuff from Ethan in the future. So stay tuned for that. But I want to just thank everyone. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Love streaming on Wednesdays. Love doing this weekly stream. If you guys want to support me, I'm going to probably be setting up channel memberships to give you guys extra content. Maybe I'll even be setting up a Patreon. A few of my videos have been getting demonetized, so appreciate all of the super chats, and I'd appreciate your membership. Once I have that set up, I'll probably make a video announcing that soon, where I just live stream and like talk to other creators and stuff, kind of more like casual content. If you want that, maybe sign up for Patreon or memberships when I have that set up. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. And thank you for your kind words. I love reading your comments and even reading your emails when you guys send me emails talking about how much it means to you for my content. That kind of makes that makes my day, like making this content and then hearing how you guys are learning from it or how it is meaningful for you. So really appreciate it all. And yeah, keep your heads up and have a great rest of your day. See ya.